And started. You start. All right. You look good on camera.
We're doing the intro.
Hello?
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 Hey?
Hello.
What was that? Was that a blown speaker?
Welcome to
The quality of our budget.
Welcome to podcast 17. Podcast.
What happened to 16 and 13?
You know what it's
Makes you
talking about.
wonder. Makes you
Reboot
wonder. Hey,
episode.
makes you wonder what happened to the podcast.
You will never know.
have the best music.
So it's been a couple of weeks.
Coming at you live, Fervent Rose Garden.
Drinking tainted waters.
Drinking the water,
I feel like you should be calling a horse race. Yeah.
Oh man, seriously, it's been a little bit. We got some great topics today. I'm not gonna say I came up with them, but I know. I mean,
He did. He definitely came up with all these. So if you're offended, blame PJ.
okay, baby. Yeah, dude, what were you talking about a second ago? What happened in Dallas?
Oh, yeah, on Wednesday, the FC Dallas soccer game. So it's them in Kansas City. They all get together. Hey, we're all...
MLS still exists.
I guess so. They had an audience, the first ones to do it. So it was like half crowds. It was supposed to be like 5,000. It was only like 2,000. Well, both teams were like, hey, we're all going to kneel for this anthem. They all kneel. All the fans start booing them. It was fucked. It was so funny. Like the lead, like the star guy was like, "Yeah, you know, fans don't support." I never laughed so hard when I read that article. That guy was so sad. They all 2,500 people
But
booed.
like,
booed them.
maybe they were booing because MLS is a joke, and they were just like, "Why are we here? Boo!"
No,
American soccer is a
they were
joke.
kneeling. It's because they were trying to make a statement, and that's the best thing. I love that part. Whether I agree or not, it's still hilarious.
Yeah, that's crazy. How do you hear about so? I mean, probably the news. The news is a
He's
thing,
got
right?
ears everywhere.
Oh, you're just connected.
His little birdies
Connected.
told him.
Little birds, yes.
He has connections.
I got people on the inside. That
Yeah, I remember when you started the riots and you ended the riots. Remember that?
Yep. I
You
said, hey,
called
no
everything in?
more. We're not going to be used. Go ahead, keep going, Seattle.
Yeah.
I allow you
We allow you to.
moving.
If you didn't know, this is the guy, FBI. This guy here.
There's that one guy that does tune into this.
Dude, I can't
Yeah,
believe
it's our FBI agent. We all have one assigned.
I can't believe that we're like this
Might
far
be, like,
in.
super bored
Those
of
riots
me
are
at this
still
point.
happening. Like that's like it's crazy.
Riots are funny.
Oh yeah, you think so?
Yeah, I get to read about it. Especially because all the cops quit now. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
So they're going to stop protecting that courthouse in Seattle or Portland, wherever it is, because the DA lady's like, hey, I'm not going to prosecute any of the rioters. So the police go, hey, you know what? We're leaving. We're going to go, since they're not going to prosecute it, we're not going to waste our time.
Right.
We're going to go protect places where they're going to prosecute the criminals. It's hilarious.
That is hilarious.
I got my Portland ticket.
I also think it's funny though that the people protesting, like the Democratic Party, just decided they're going to have like the biggest cop ever prosecutor as the vice president.
Oh, yeah.
Lady that literally like almost sent an innocent man to death row because she refused to let the DNA test go. Awesome pick.
Wow.
That means she doesn't give in. I love it.
Yeah. She didn't give a fuck.
Even when she's wrong, she's like, I'm still right.
They also took all those prisoners and made them go fight the wildfires for $1 an hour.
Yeah, slave, literally, like pretty much slavery,
Literally slave
yeah.
labor.
Could have picked Tulsi. That's all I'm saying. Could have picked Tulsi.
Dang.
She sticks with her convictions. I love her.
Oh yeah. Dude, so there's something that we
Dude, so
you know what? Okay. Well, hey, at least I'm not saying butt anymore.
that's true. You got off the bottoms.
So I'm gonna say dude from now on.
Dude,
This is something
it's
that
one word.
Isn't that how the Eminem song starts? The Venom one?
Candy?
PJ's about to
Yeah,
get
that
serious. He took
bum.
off his headphones.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a little delay, so
What kind of candy?
I can hear it
commercial?
right now.
What?
You talking about the rapper?
there we go.
Who?
Eminem, Marshall
I thought you were talking about
Mathers.
okay. I really thought there was a commercial that started like, I was like, what? Which commercial is that?
Okay, anyways, there's something we talked about
Podcast
this.
is off
This
to
is
a
like
normal start.
this is like something we talked about like 2 months ago, I think. MK Ultra. You know a lot about this, and I know you know a lot about this. So let's talk about it. Like, what is it? Explain it to me.
Well,
I know there's drugs involved.
Well,
acid.
definitely, yeah, it's LSD. So basically, the CIA decided they were going to experiment with mind control on
Yeah.
U.S. citizens because, of course, you know. And so what they would do is, I mean, they did this for at least from like basically post World War II, pretty much until they got busted in the late '60s, where they
Dang, that long?
yeah, And they're probably doing it again under a different name. But what they would do is, so they would take prisoners and help me out here, psych ward patients.
Oh yeah.
And they would basically force them to do LSD and basically experimental like suggestive controls. And another thing that they would do is they would go to San Francisco and they would go to like different bars and specifically gay bars too. And they would go in and try to slip LSD into people's drinks just to see what the effects would be.
And they're doing them at whorehouses.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. They would drug them. The
Drug the
Johns.
shit out of them. And then they did it to some famous people too, like Whitey Bulger, the Boston
Tom Hanks.
Kingpin.
Tom Hanks.
Huh?
Tom Hanks.
Dang. So when did LSD become like a
Waylon?
when did LSD become a widely used thing though? Because that was a big party drug, right? So
It was that first, and then
it was like the
party drug.
60s, pretty much, is when it got blown up.
Oh,
Because
okay.
the hippie movement.
So like right after MK Ultra, or
Right around the same time.
Oh, okay.
Well, MK Ultra was mid 50s,
50s through 60s.
The Manson murders.
so like the
happened
drug
late
had
60s,
it. The
so-
drug the
The Manson thing is kind of one of the reasons why. So the JFK and RFK assassinations.
Yeah.
A lot of people have a bunch of conspiracy theories about how like that it was involved. Like so, Sirhan is the guy that assassinated Robert Kennedy, and he was alleged to like have no memory. Like I mean, of course, this is just him saying this, but he alleged that he had no memory, no knowledge of who RFK was, why he had a gun, why he killed him. Like his personality just completely like instantly changed as soon as he finished it off the target.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people, the whole film franchise,
Which one?
The
But the Hitman.
yeah, it's like the Queen of. Every time he sees the Queen of Hearts, he turns into a communist killer assassin.
Not
Manchurian Candidate.
okay, not Naked Gun 2.5.
That's a classic. though.
It does. It's assassinate the
Can we
Queen.
talk
whenever
about
you-
that movie?
Hook is what you're saying.
Because
Naked Gun, would you
the
read
Naked
that?
Gun franchise is amazing, and the best skits in that movie for me is I can't remember which one it is, but he's undercover and he's got a wire and he's got to get into like this wetsuit and swim into the bad guy's base, and it's like filled with manure, so he smells like shit when he gets there. And so he takes off and he's in his suit and he goes in and they're having their meeting and he's got a safe word for his wire that's I love it. And so, like, he walks in, and they're like, "Oh man, it smells like shit." And he's like, "I love it, I love it." Yeah, and like they're like, "Oh, it's weird as shit." And they start patting him down. Like they get to like his nipples, and they're patting his nipples, and he's like, "I love it, I love it." Love that movie.
That was what MK Ultra was.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Naked Gun. And then if you want to get like further into the tinfoil hat though, because the MK Ultra has been proven, like it was a real thing. The United States government performed many experiments illegally on its citizen, and yet people still want more of that. Awesome, but there's a bunch of lunatics that think that it's called Project Monarch now. And that's the stuff that you see where the celebrities, like all these conspiracy theories on YouTube with the Matrix theme playing, where like the celebrity will blink into the camera and they're like, clearly that's mind control. Oh, Avril Lavigne has been replaced. It's that kind of stuff now.
Isn't Monarch the thing from Godzilla?
I hate you, PJ.
No, is that what it was called? And then the
Mastodon?
new ones, like it's like
the
organization.
Don't you feel like an asshole, bro?
Only because PJ always does this.
No, I'm just curious if like that might be.
No, that's completely unrelated.
that might be desensitizing us to the name, though, right? Maybe.
I just want to.
I don't know.
I just
You know what that
wonder-
makes me think of?
What?
Paul McCartney is dead, and he was replaced with a guy that looks just like him, can perform the same way as him
Yeah,
in
that
every
sounds
single
weird.
way. Come on.
I just
sounds
like
weird.
the fact they come up with these cool fucking names, like MK Ultra. They got the
Yeah.
Operation Ivy. You had
What's Operation Ivy?
That's the one where the UFO destroyed the rocket,
Oh,
Yeah.
or the nuclear bomb they caught on video, but they never released. It was Operation Ivy.
The other
They
one that
shot
was
it.
proven, Operation Paperclip, where we smuggled a bunch of illegal war criminals from the Nazi regime to be part of NASA.
Oh,
Yeah, you're welcome.
What's the new operation called where it's not even an explosive? It's like just a rod that they launch from space and it comes down and it hits and it's just based off of impact and it makes it like
How come I never? What
it's
is
an
this?
it's a new like
Yeah, I
you know what I'm
can't
talking
remember-
about, right?
yeah, I can't remember
I
what it's
recently
called,
saw
though.
the article and it's about it's like just literally a rod
one's
that
not
falls
really
from
that
space
secret, though.
and it's a
Yeah, I remember that being
It
a plot.
does a
of-
bomb thing, but there's no side effects. There's no chemicals.
This isn't a troll thing, but I remember that being a plot of one of the Call of Duties like 4 years ago.
Well, I think it's a part of it's currently. So
Yeah.
it would make sense.
Is that what happened in Beirut?
Dude,
Their whole
crazy.
government resigned, like legitimately.
The whole
like,
the whole place is
entire
under.
government just like up and left because of that.
That's
They
insane,
were
dude.
reduced.
You
Basically,
saw-
we don't know how to explain this. Sorry.
So
Yeah.
that's one of those things like, you always see it in the movies like the shockwave coming through, but I've never seen a lot of videos where like you can actually see it coming.
Dude,
that blew my mind.
That
dude. It was
chick in the car and they're recording it and you see just the sonic boom coming
Yeah.
in. What is it? Oh my god!
Dude, one of the cool ones is one of the boat shots where you see it right, then you see the water going. I mean, it's not. Obviously, they didn't die or anything. It's still cool to see though. This like
It's crazy.
I like how the first report's like 10 dead. I was like, really? That was it?
It's like
100 the next day. It's like, okay.
Yeah, that's-
okay, no, makes sense.
Dude, I think I only saw one clip of somebody that was right by the building, and it was insane. Like I don't know, like
I just want to know how, what phone were you using that it didn't get destroyed when you're that close?
right? Well, maybe they were like live feed,
Yeah.
like into Facebook or something like that. I'm not
Yeah.
sure, but like that's our friend James. I don't know if you ever met him, but he worked at West Texas like back 2012 or something. like
The town.
Master Roshi?
Yeah, the town. Yeah, Master Roshi. So he was in the fire department there, and because remember when that same ammonium
Oh,
nitrate
yeah,
blew
yeah, I
up
remember
there,
when that explosion
It was
happened.
crazy because he was off that day. He was I think he was supposed to be there, but he called in or something like that. So he would have been one of the guys there when that one blew up, and like it really messed him up for a little bit. But even that, I think it was obviously nowhere near the size of the one in Beirut. But still, that stuff is insane.
That was,
Well, you remember when we were kids over here in Dallas, they had like a big, massive explosion in the like air compressor factory, like that. Those big they're like big metal things filled with like super explosive stuff.
Yeah.
And they I don't know. I'm not a scientist. I'm as qualified as Bill Nye.
air compressed?
And so, I just took a shot at one of my own heroes, but whatever. But like they started exploding, and like
I looked at
you
myself.
having an aneurysm over here.
I looked at myself. Hey,
But like they started like shooting out of the factory and like rockets, and like we're talking thousands, because if one goes off, they all start going off.
Yeah.
So it started raining on the Dallas highway in the mid '90s, just like bombs everywhere, just
Wow.
going off on cars and stuff. It's insane. I've seen the videos.
That's great.
Yeah, apparently there is only one other ammonium nitrate explosion bigger than the one in Beirut, and it also happened in Texas,
Really?
back in like the 30s or 40s or something like that.
I thought they just came up with a mini nuke. I was like, oh, sweet. I was like, now we just take
The
out
fat
cities.
boy from Fallout.
Yeah, I wonder like what obviously besides the destruction and like the people that are homeless now, I wonder what like it's not fallout because it's not nuclear, but I wonder what the effect is on like the area from all that ammonium nitrate.
Well,
the
they
government
just,
left.
Yeah,
Yeah, but those are like not like chemical like effects or like like from the actual explosion.
Probably really isn't any.
Dude, I wonder if that sonic boom probably just shored your organs. Like
The people close enough, yeah, they probably have all kinds of internal bleeding. Yeah,
just gone.
like
Is the death toll still rising on that?
I tuned it out.
I'm sure there's plenty of people that are like critically injured still, or not may or may not make it.
People who
Yeah.
would get like lung cancer and stuff.
Yeah.
We'll see. We really will. So, but one of the other ones I thought was crazy was one of the guys in the road, and
Yeah.
you see it coming, and you see it like destroy that building like 2 blocks in front of him. Like, man, like what goes through your head? Like, I can't imagine seeing something like that and being close enough where you're not going to survive it.
I wouldn't be
and
able to blow my camera fast
getting to wait for
Yeah.
it to come, man.
Oh, knowing you're fucked.
Yeah, it's like, what do? You don't do anything.
Start jerking. Like, I'm out of there.
No time to do that.
I'm gonna finish where the sonic boom gets me.
It's like that's what I've heard like from some like even normal bombs. Like you can have because the guys that could defuse the bombs, you can have that big suit and it doesn't matter, like you won't, no strap metal will hit you, whatever, you'll die from the shockwave.
The concussion, yeah.
Yeah, just like it'll stop your heart, it'll make your organs bleed, whatever. So that's just like you're not gonna stop a shockwave.
Oh, I heard some rude like a little dog. What the hell was that?
Yeah, that MK Ultra stuff's crazy. Like I'm just curious when it went from like, hey, the government's using it to test us to, hey, let's go party with LSD. Like when did
Well, see, they didn't find out till the 70s, so almost 20 years later. Then by the time the chemists are leaking it out and giving out drugs,
yeah.
that's how they make monies.
Yeah, and then they also the whole reason why we have the drug war on drugs pretty much boils down to the CIA didn't want to have competition.
Damn.
Yeah, that's why
Makes
that's why we
sense.
incarcerate 90% of our prison population.
I mean, listen, prohibition only lasted 10 years. And they quit because everybody was like,
Oh,
okay, everybody's making money and
the-
cheating the system. Let's,
the war on drugs is the biggest failure in U.S. history.
they should have stopped it and just
Even
started making
bigger
money
than
off it.
Vietnam.
Oh, way bigger in Vietnam.
Right.
That wasn't
The
a
amount of
success?
money and time that we've wasted on that. Whoa.
Yeah, I just recently
Trillions.
watched a video about Vietnam and how like the massive tunnels they built and stuff like that, and how literally the only other country that was brave enough to come and go through those was the Australians. They were like, yeah, we'll go in a few Americans, and they would go through and like purposely destroy
Booby
things.
traps. Out of there.
Yeah, the Brits, everybody else are like, nope.
Well, they built the tunnels when they beat the shit out of France and
Yeah,
became
yeah.
free in the first place. So they already knew what they were doing when we showed up, and so it was like like basically they already had practice.
The Vietnam was
mapped out.
so hilarious. Yeah, we're winning, but everyone's getting murdered. I was like, oh, you guys are not winning.
Well, so I mean, so technically speaking, we won every single actual battle, but it was pointless because that wasn't the. We were fighting the old wars in a new style of war. Basically, like so, and in fact, when they signed the peace treaty, I think his name is General Westmoreland. To the leader of Vietnam forces was like, oh, but we won every battle, and the guy was like, yeah, but we won the war, so hilarious.
It's one of those things, it's like the evolution of war, right?
Well, yeah. Well, the thing is like they knew that they would never win as far as like, straight up combat.
Yeah, so
it was a war of attrition, and so they had all the hippies over here protesting against the war. And then you had them basically like there's nothing. So the Vietnamese people had to choose the Viet Cong because as soon as we leave, they're gonna get killed. So they might as well just do what they're told. So that way they don't die as soon as we leave. So I mean, we were gonna lose regardless.
What was it? Wasn't it about like communism or something? They're stopping the spread of
So
communism.
basically,
I was like, really?
well, basically, South Vietnam was a free country, and basically we were trying to prevent China from taking over what was left of Asia.
Oh, China.
And so Vietnam was like because we'd already lost the Korean. Well, we didn't lose, but it's a draw.
Yeah.
But Korea was over, and so we were trying to prevent China from taking any more power in the region. So we thought, okay, well we can help the South Vietnamese, stay free, America. And so we were going to use them essentially as a pawn. Let's be real. And North Vietnam was like, fuck that. We want to take away everyone's freedom equally, and they did.
And that's when
And-
America started.
Yeah.
Everything
well,
was-
as you know, world history starts in 1776. Everything before that was a mistake.
Oh.
Accident. Take that, Rome.
Dude, Roman history is the most insane shit ever. Can we talk about Caligula for a second?
Do it.
Sure.
Emperor
Caligula.
Caligula is the most entertaining son of a bitch in history. So the dude's like grandfather, so to speak, the emperor before him, was basically like a crazy pedophile who lived on like Jeffrey Epstein. He has his own private island filled with kids. Like legitimately, that's what this emperor did. Like he left Rome and just chilled out on this island where he was a creep to kids.
Oof.
And so that basically like
The
Caligula.
story's going.
Yeah, Caligula had to grow up there under threat of being murdered if he didn't. So so eventually, like I think he pretty much snuffs the emperor out and takes over.
Yeah.
And he takes over. He becomes the emperor, and everyone loves him because like the previous emperor, as I said, was like evil creep.
Mm-hmm.
And he takes over, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, yeah, this guy's amazing! He's giving everyone free jelly beans and rainbows." And Caligula's like, "Yeah, I'm awesome." And then immediately was like, "Fuck that!" And he starts forcing like the senators and stuff to like let him sleep with their wives in front of him. And
Dang.
he nominates his horse to like the basically like the parliament or whatever, and has like his horse as a sitting senator. He marries his sister because why not? And it's just it's amazing. He just doesn't give a shit, and he would go around just like saying weird shit to see if he could get away with it. He was just nuts.
Dang.
I love Rome, dude. Rome's amazing, and there's so many like stories like this. It's great.
So Zeus started.
HBO, make a show.
They did. It's called Rome.
Yeah, make a
It's been done.
Yeah, but they only did like 3 seasons, and it was about Caesar, and we've already talked about Julius Caesar a million times.
Caesar.
This is kind of like Rome adjacent, but you know the movie Gladiator.
Yeah.
that we all love, right?
It's a
I
true
didn't.
story.
I didn't realize that.
It's not.
I didn't realize that the guy who I guess owned him or whatever, the guy in charge of the Gladiators. I didn't realize he died during filming.
Yeah.
And at a bar, out drinking the whole bar basically, and then like he was like, "All right, I'm going home," like completely plastered, and he had a heart attack and died.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, really?
Yeah. So they named that pub after him where they were
He
filming.
was also the main villain in 2 of the Dollars trilogy movies, Fistful of Dollars and For a Few Dollars More.
That's crazy. Yeah, like he didn't finish filming that movie.
Nope.
They had to use B-roll and a couple of shots where they just had him from behind and they put dialogue over it to finish it.
My favorite scene in the whole movie is him basically telling the main character why he loves being a gladiator. You know, that Thunder of the Applause thing. That was amazing.
Yeah,
Awesome scene.
that kind of reminds me of My Chemical Romance a little bit. You know, there's the one song they go.
Oh, see, it makes me think of Lady Gaga because she lives for the applause. The applause.
Well, there's
The
one.
applause
There's
applause.
one line. I think it's Disenchanted because it was
a
the roar of the
monster,
crowd.
buddy.
No,
Yeah, yeah.
So that was good. Hey, we're doing good today. We're on topic mostly. We're gonna pop over to this next one, which is apocalypse scenarios. We're gonna talk about a couple of these things. Yeah, perfect. You know, little transition there.
Worst.
Let's talk about my favorite thing actually that you brought
Pirate
up.
sword?
Is no, I love that. Hey, dude, you totally destroyed the set. Oh my goodness, it's been destroyed.
Such a good face.
This is where we all die.
Yeah, call the horse race.
Apocalypse scenario. Waylon has a sword.
So,
The
dude,
sword of 1,000 truths.
this is something that freaks me out. Is Yellowstone. Let's talk about that. How long?
show?
Like Kevin Costner.
Kevin Costner.
That's a great show. Season 1,
no.
excellent.
You trolls.
I still have to watch it.
I started watching it.
Oh, so basically what happens...
Shut up.
No, but seriously,
Well, anything Western or baseball related with Kevin Costner, 10 out of 10.
Rock hard. The
I
show.
like
Not
the Robin Hood Kevin Costner. I don't care who doesn't. I liked it. Anyways, continue with
Man
your
in
apocalypse
Tights is
story.
Waterworld.
Well, yeah.
Fuck
That's
off.
a good movie.
That was a
You know
fun
what's-
movie.
His worst,
good.
his worst is The Postman. That movie
That
makes me
also
mad.
was a fun movie.
But it's a movie.
I have not liked one of his movies.
The Postman was awful.
I liked that movie.
That was silly. But that makes sense. But Waterworld was a shit. I don't understand how people didn't like that. Little girl, map
Dude,
on
the
her back.
video game was the shit.
there was a video game of
Yeah.
Waterworld.
And it's as shit as you can imagine.
That's one of those movies that was just on TV growing up. You know,
Yeah.
that was just there.
Constantly.
Saturday afternoon.
Yep. Every weekend. Such a
Kevin
good movie.
Costner.
He
Man.
drinks his own piss.
Well, he was basically
I
a
was
fish,
there.
so you could do that.
He filtered it.
Dude, were they like super happy, excited to see paper? Like that was like, oh, it's paper.
That was fucking cool.
You know? And that's one of those scenarios where a jar of dirt would be worth something, right? Like, I got a jar of dirt.
I don't know, but it just makes me think of watching that horrible Mario live action movie back in the day. I don't
Which
know why.
also was a classic.
Like, I just
Best movie in the
associate
world?
those two movies together, you know?
Oh,
Dustin
Hawaii.
Hoffman. Dustin, not
I-
Dustin Hoffman.
Yeah,
it's him.
yeah.
It's him, yeah.
Dustin
like,
Hoffman's in
basically-
Waterworld?
Yeah, he's the bad guy.
Yeah, he's the main villain.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's like one of those like weird like early 90s programming blocks where they would show like a bunch of shit movies before a Steven Seagal movie.
UPN, baby.
Yeah.
So you're saying it'd be
UPN and
like,
TNT.
it'd be like
WB.
Waterworld, Twister.
Oh, don't
the-
disrespect
Dude,
Twister.
yeah, I love Twister, but it was still showing up all those movies.
Still on.
That's
Still
true.
does.
My boy
TNT.
Bill Paxton, not Pullman. Wait,
Yeah.
Paxton, yes.
Yeah.
yeah, Bill Paxton.
From
dude.
Alito.
R.I.P. But
Dead.
yeah, he's in that. You know, dude, I like my parents used to watch the movie all the time, and one of my dad's favorite things was to call out all the mistakes in it because he loves that stuff. That's one of his things, dude. Like he doesn't do it so much now anymore, but he used to do it all the time when like continuity errors would happen. To be like. He'd pause, like we'd be watching it in our living room, you know, even VHS back then. He'd pause and be like, "Did you guys catch that?" We'd be like, "No, we're trying to watch the movie." He was like, rewind it like 15 seconds. Look what it is, and like he's always done that. But
in the
that's why they
movie
love
theater,
Twister so
Dad.
much.
Cut
Yeah.
the film.
I just like how objectively it's not that good of a film, but everyone loves it.
It's
'cause
amazing.
It's a master. It's the
Good.
masterpiece.
Dude, that's the movie that made me want to become a storm chaser growing up.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
You know,
But my favorite thing is like I associate the That's No Moon, That's a Space Station more with Twister than I do Star Wars. And that doesn't make any sense.
Anyways, end world scenarios.
they remake it.
Book of Eli.
Oh
Go
shit!
to in-world post-apocalyptic.
No,
I didn't like it.
I like
Really?
that movie.
Book of Eli, really?
I think without the plot twist, the movie's
Like they memorized the whole thing.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. You know,
I
he
like
was
that part.
blind
And
the
he's
whole
dying,
time.
and he said, "Hey, I'm gonna go ahead and."
I mean, you know, even though it had 3 of my favorite actors in it,
Jesus
not
Christ
memorable.
being one of them.
I mean, I think she goes by Mila Kunis,
Oh man,
but my favorite
That's the
actor of all
Devil's Cut
time,
girl.
Gary Oldman,
Gary Oldman, man.
God,
greatest,
favorite.
the goat.
She's a Jim Beam girl.
Jim Beam. I can't. I'm good. Anyways, we're gonna get back on topic.
I
'Cause
drink Jim Beam if
I
they
literally
take me.
just got the name Yellowstone out and we got distracted. So seriously, Yellowstone
Oh, the
National
show,
Park.
yeah, it's great.
Yeah,
The-
that fucking.
Yeah, Kevin Costner. Man, he's pretty cool.
He does a good westerns in baseball.
Dude, Waterworld's a good movie.
He was in
What do you guys
Waterworld.
think of Postman, though? I think it's kind of shit. Yeah.
That'd be great.
The Robin Hood movie,
We're
though.
just gonna do a really quick loop.
We're MK Ultraing the 30 people. Like, did that just happen?
Dude, how funny the podcast would that be?
Deja
You
vu.
fell asleep.
We just keep looping it back.
We just stare at the camera.
What's wrong with the internet?
And like we just
Take that, 13.
I'll just cut it too. We only have to do it one time and I'll just loop the video like
No, but I want to constantly do it though.
We just bring it up an hour later. 12-hour podcast.
it's like we'll just leave
But
it.
Bull,
then-
Bull Durham, great. Think Field of Dreams is my favorite Kevin Costner, though.
Oh my goodness. All right, we're gonna talk about Kevin Costner the rest of the day.
There's
Um,
no
so
way. There's
so
no way
Yellow-
Dances with Wolves is better than
Yellowstone.
Goodfellas. There's no way.
I honestly can't
It's
even.
gonna
name-
blow.
It's gonna blow.
They say it's getting hotter.
The bison are attacking.
Isn't it overdue to blow up? We're on
Well, it's-
Yellowstone
it's
now.
It's like
by the way.
100
Right.
years overdue,
But
I
like-
think, isn't it? It's something like
We're,
ridiculous.
we're
that.
like it's supposed to be happening.
Yeah.
We should have already been dead.
I mean, 10
That would
years
be
ago-
that would be the worst way for 2020 to end. Like it's
A big
November,
explosion.
We're the best.
boom. All of a sudden, we can't even like have sunlight.
Oh
for,
no,
like, 10
California
years.
and Seattle
It'll
and
happen
Oregon just happened to
It's
slip
gonna happen
away.
Dante's Peak style. Pierce Brosnan's gonna come out. Lynn Hamilton's running.
No,
Movie's gonna bomb.
The best part of Dante's Peak, though, is it's like, oh, we're so serious about the science of volcanoes, and then there's a scene where this old woman gets into this like acid lake and pushes them, and it's fine.
The canoe lasts for a little
the
bit.
canoe lasts forever, and like she's like, I'm totally should be dying right now, but I'm gonna be able to push you.
But this wood's okay.
If it does erupt, do you want it to be like the movie Volcano or the movie Dante's Peak?
I
I want the train driver to run in lava and.
I don't think it's gonna be like either of those. I feel like it's gonna be like a nuclear bomb going off in the middle of the country.
Right.
well, there was an actual like huge eruption that happened like I think it was the 80s, like
Yeah.
up in like
St. Helen.
yeah, Mount St. I think it's gonna be like that, just time 10.
Yeah, isn't
times
that
10.
also?
Probably more.
They did a film on that one too, right?
I don't know about that.
Dante's Peak is supposed to be like it. So is Volcano.
Well, what's so crazy is the closer you get to these catastrophic like areas, like volcanoes or Yellowstone or those places, the more beautiful the area is.
Right.
It's just weird. Like the closer you want to be to paradise, the more hell it can
Yeah,
be.
That's why people don't want to live there because it's gonna be fucked.
It's just
Right.
nuts.
Yeah.
Like nothing happened. Like Texas, like we just have normal weather, right? You like or our weather, and then you go to
Tornadoes.
Kansas, it's whatever. But
Tornadoes.
you go to California, earthquakes like no other. Hawaii, earthquakes, volcanoes,
Well,
whatever.
that's kind of
It,
their
like,
punishment for remaking Ghostbusters.
Like actually, I think it would be kind of ironic and funny if like Yellowstone did blow up and then some big meteors landed on all the cities we don't like. Like the East Coast got hit by,
Portland's now gone.
Well,
California broke off.
I mean, if you've seen the movie with Nicolas Cage where he like does math and somehow figures out how disasters are gonna happen.
Oh yeah, unknown. Right?
Yeah, I think so. Awesome. He's like, oh man, I did some math and I think there's gonna be some tornadoes. And everyone's like, oh, I don't believe you, Nick Cage. You got a terrible haircut. And he's like, yeah, I'm Ghost Rider.
And I'm fighting Cyrus the Virus and Con Air. It's like, those different movies. I'm Nick Cage. I don't care.
I'm gonna steal the Declaration of Independence.
I somehow won an Oscar.
I'm Marilyn Manson.
Is that a celebrity? No, that's not celebrity.
I don't remember
I don't know why they call it, but
God, we're
celebrity
getting
death.
so distracted. It's funny. I don't remember what I watched, but I remember somebody was talking to somebody trying to pump him up. They were like, "Remember, you can be like Nick Cage." And he's like, "What do you mean?" It was like you could do a lot of shitty things in your life, and then one day you do so much, you get national treasure too, and then you're an icon.
That's so good.
Honestly, though, like my ironic favorite film he ever did is The Wicker Man.
I thought you said Face
Yeah. Oh, I've
Oh,
never seen it.
no.
Face
I
Off
love-
is the
Face Off is
the
actually
greatest movie he's
Face
ever
Off
done.
is actually
that,
legitimately
and then
good movie.
Con Air is pretty close to that
Yeah,
too.
Con Air's pretty good. The Rock, Raising Arizona. He's actually had a Moonstruck.
just-
He's actually had a crap ton of good movies.
It's
He's
just funny that when the movie, The Leaving Las Vegas, we won the Oscar for, he never changed that character. He's like, I'm gonna be that character in all my
Yeah.
movies now, and he's still the same guy. Like, hey, buddy.
Well, that's the thing is like Nick Cage only has two things. He can either be an amazing actor or he can be Nick Cage, and he usually flips the coin. But The Wicker Man is his magnum opus. Like it's a remake of one of the greatest horror movies of all time, and he does his best overact. It's memes. It's all memes. Like he like literally punches a nun. He hijacks a girl's bike at gunpoint.
I want to just push her.
Oh, it's so funny. And like he shows up in a bear costume, and at one point he's like he starts like screaming at this woman with like a burnt teddy bear, and he's like, "How did I get burned? How did I get burned? How did I get burned?" And then like my favorite part of the whole film though, and this is probably the most famous part, like they're getting ready to kill him and sacrifice him, spoilers, and to put him inside the Wicker Man, hence the name, and burn him. But they put like a jar on his head, and they bring out this bag, and he's like, oh no, what is that? Oh no, Nicolas Cage. And they put it's bees, and they go, no, not the bees. It's like the horrible CGI, like just bees on his face, and he's like, this is the best. Look it up. Do yourselves a favor, look it up. Top 5 favorite shit movies.
Have you seen though? Not that it's better than that, because I agree with you. Wicker Man is hilarious. Have you seen Bangkok Dangerous?
Hell yeah! Where he's got peak bald Nick Cage, with, like the long hair mullet, and he's like this badass assassin. He lives in Bangkok, and he walks around. He's badass, and he can never miss his target. And like at the end, he like hugs the guy and shoots them both in the face. Like
It's
amazing.
like
He's like, I could totally live through this, and I don't actually have to kill myself, but the plot dictates I do.
yeah, it's one of those things like, hey, your plot armor's gone. All right.
Okay. Like, I think my other favorite one though is like it was actually a good movie. I think it's called Next, where he can like see 2 minutes into the future. And like it's just all intense action movie, and then it's like, oh surprise! I can actually see 2 hours into the future, and
Yes! I've totally forgot about that movie.
yeah, and it's like, oh by the way, you just wasted 2 hours of your life because I'm not actually gonna do this.
Dude, that new movie that came out like 2 years ago with him and Selma Blair is called Mom and Dad.
Oh, I did not see
The
that.
virus gets the parents, they have to kill their kids, and he does the fucking funniest shit. Whenever he's like, he goes crazy with the knife. Like, Nick Cage, what are you doing, man?
I want to see his other new one. It's like The Color of Space.
Purple, I watched that. Color
Yeah.
Purple, I watched that. It's good.
Yeah, it's good.
Fucking
It's good.
good.
Yeah,
So
that's
good.
one of the ones that looked good. I was like, oh,
Yeah, I
man.
wanted to see that one. He did another one that was where he's hunting a serial killer in Alaska that was actually pretty good, and it was based on a true story, but I can't think of the name. I'll have to look it up later. But
It's called Nick Cage in Alaska.
no, I think it's like Frozen Ground.
Yeah, it's Frozen Ground. I remember
that
that.
was actually pretty good.
Frozen 2?
Yeah, right.
So
No, Frozen Ground's a Steven Seagal movie where he fights Michael Caine.
This was called Frozen Ground 2, though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I remember looking. I was
'Cause
going
it's
to
like-
watch it.
Wait,
It's-
it's Frozen Ground 2? Or this is called Frozen Ground 2? Because I confused
It's
it.
Frozen 2 Ground. No.
Okay.
No, back to volcanoes. So, like, yeah, we're going back. So, it's weird because, like, how I view
again.
volcanoes is like, maybe there's some smoke or whatnot. I know this is very, like, reductive of volcanoes, but there's smoke, lava pours out. But,
well, you know what they say.
but Yellowstone would not be like that, right?
Are you sure?
It would. I mean, right? That's what I've been told. That it would
I don't
be
know.
like-
I'm not a
It's a super
volcanologist.
volcano.
Yeah,
No,
I've been told that
it's like
it's like because it's like it would just like I don't know what the radius is, but it's really big and it would just like go.
Basically, like 10 nukes, isn't it?
Oh, no. It would take out everything all the way up. It would take out this whole North America would be,
yeah.
So they're saying, I guess when the last one
Communist
you
win.
watched, what was on Rogan like 2 days ago? He was talking about it.
and like all the way down to like Oklahoma, Texas. Like
Yeah,
all
I mean,
Yeah,
that's all.
I don't think we would be like taken out, but we would be in the cloud of
Oh,
ashes
the whole
like that.
world. What was Rogan was talking about? I think it was 2 days ago. He was talking about that the last one that went off, that they think that civilization was so advanced, but when the last super volcano went out, only like 1% of the population lived.
Atlantis.
And that's what I'm thinking. That it makes sense.
Yeah,
And
'cause-
then with the very first, like, no one said they talk about some crazy explosion.
Yeah, because the problem with it all, outside of just the intense explosion, because it's not going to go poof out the top of a mountain. It's like such a big area and there's so much pressure that it would literally be like just everything's gone, right?
So 10 years of no sun.
I mean,
That's what
I
they-
think
Yeah,
I
that's
actually
what I'm
have a
saying.
solution. We get a team of scientists and Hilary Swank, and we put them in a machine that drills a hole into the world.
That's so cute. You just do it every time you do it.
But that's the real issue though, is the whole like
You guys don't think Hilary Swank can solve the issue?
I thought we're
I think
getting
Hillary
Kamala
Swank too.
Anderson to whatever her name is. Kamala, the VP runner.
oh Camilla.
Camila.
Kamala. Anyway, either way.
Kamala.
Kabila,
that's
Shawn
the-
Mendes' girlfriend?
I hear she's just gonna make
She's
the
good.
make the
Savannah
prison
Nights.
workers
I
Man.
saw
fix
her
it.
open for Taylor Swift.
Yeah, I'm
Got
jealous.
jiggy with it.
But yeah, that's the real issue though, is the sun being blocked out. So anybody that would survive it, like you can't. There's no sunlight.
will block out the sun.
So, I don't know. Is there
we'll
a
fight in the shade.
like let's sit here and do what the scientists can't do and come up with a solution to all that.
I
ash.
just-
Probably,
gave you
honestly,
one, Hillary
the real
Swank.
solution is you need to stop Butters before he makes us erupt, because he's out there going, "Come on, guys, you're gonna make it happy."
For some reason,
Can you do
it
his
was in
voice, Butters'
Africa.
voice?
That's the only place that
Not
survived
really.
last
I can
time,
do
apparently.
Cartman, but not Butters.
What if it doesn't?
I
I
bet,
think
I,
Chaos.
bet, I bet you Professor Chaos is out there trying to make it erupt right
Like,
now.
Simpsons did it.
Here's what I think they need to do. Okay, we build a huge tube around the entire area that is the Yellowstone explosion area.
The tube stretches over to Portland.
No, like the tube goes all the way outside of Earth, outside the atmosphere, and when it blows up, we just get shot a little bit, a couple miles toward this, away from the sun, solve global warming at the same time.
But
You know,
you're
just-
away from the sun.
Or we could tweet
Ash.
a strongly worded message to the volcano
Oh, yeah.
and get it canceled.
Well, we could just sacrifice somebody and throw it in.
I'll be
Well,
the
there- that's
sacrifice.
the thing, there
Just
is
like
no-
what's it, Joe versus the volcano? Got Tom Hanks too. It was an
Is that the one with the volleyball?
Is it the volleyball?
No.
Yeah, I just remember them trying to
it's
sacrifice them,
not.
and I was like, "Was there a volleyball?" Oh, Castaway.
I'm like waiting for him to
Hey,
answer. I'm like,
all the
no.
trolls.
Hey, bro, I
the
was
answer
trying to
is
think
no.
about the rate. I know too
bunch
much
of
information. You're trying to
trolls.
troll me. It's like maybe it did happen.
You could have a
Troll back on
volleyball
you.
in more than one
Trolls.
movie.
Troll to you, sir.
Welcome to the Troll Podcast.
I don't know what you're talking about. Take that.
No, did you guys? This is like a couple months ago. Did you see that volcano somewhere? I think it's over near. Anyways, either
Beyond
way,
the sea.
there's a cruise line that thought it was a good idea to like active volcano. By the way, to get a
buy it? Did the cruise?
no,
They just drove by it in a boat?
More than go by it.
That looks pretty. Legolas, is that an active volcano?
What's your FIC?
Like active volcano
taking the Hobbits to
cruise line
Isengard.
comes by and go, hey, in our cruise line thing, one of your excursions is going to be able to go to this little island and walk around on this active volcano. And so they did it. They had like
That's so
4
good.
boatloads of people walking the island, and guess what happened? It erupted.
I would have done it.
Really?
I would have
Yeah.
got it on
Oh man, that's hilarious.
Dude, the people couldn't get off that. Like I don't remember how many people died. Everybody else had
When was
massive burns. It was a couple months ago.
Oh
Yeah,
my god, that's hilarious.
Like pre-COVID?
it might have been right pre-COVID.
Okay.
You know, and like, but I just remember like
Oh, I mean,
reading it.
2020, like big news like that doesn't really
Pre-COVID.
matter anymore because,
Right.
like, well,
PC. Oh
yeah,
man.
well, because I mean,
Before
think about it. Like, we
PC.
just acknowledge the fact that aliens existed and no one cares.
Right.
Today, Pentagon came out and said we have the division called the. You just read the article like 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
But you just read
Today
the
just
article 10
announced-
minutes ago, huh?
Oh, like maybe like
Wow,
an
in
hour
the middle of
ago.
the podcast.
He does it. I think he's like,
Yeah, no.
He's
I got the
hardwired
Google
in.
chip. I got the
He's
Google chip,
hardwired
buddy.
in.
all right.
had
Yeah,
to
but
make
yeah,
this.
like I don't know, like I personally wouldn't have thought that was a good idea. I mean, apparently Whalen would do it, but like, yeah, they couldn't get people off in time. People were literally waiting at the
totally-
dock
totally
while
check it
all
out.
this ash is coming
That is
down, and
fucking
like,
Well, I
hilarious.
mean, if they would have just worn their mask, they would have been fine.
but yeah, I'm just saying that's a small volcano in an area of an island, right? And it was that bad, and it wasn't even a big explosion.
Fucking
So can you
hilarious.
imagine like
I mean, it's a
Yellowstone?
volcano.
Like,
Nah,
So-
Yellowstone, you're fucked. Only 1%.
what I'm just saying, compared to what Yellowstone would be, it's basically
Yeah,
nothing.
but it's still a freaking volcano.
True.
But that's crazy.
It's literally like a giant explosion of fire and death.
That's crazy.
Not a big deal.
And we're just
That's crazy. That Africa, it all started in one continent. Bam, again happened. Again, civilization started again in Africa. But then it's like
All you
oh,
need is
Africa,
1%. What's 1% of 7 billion
baby. At the
people?
time, it was probably like
Speaking of Africa,
2
though,
million. It wasn't that much.
There's an awesome
Probably
movie
7
that you
million.
should also look up. It's on YouTube called Who Shot Captain Alex,
Oh,
and it is my favorite film of all time, not including Lord of the Rings. Drink.
damn it, Dylan.
go,
Y'all
go,
didn't
go,
drink a
go.
minute ago. We already
Yeah, I already made a reference.
Did you?
Yeah.
No.
But basically, this guy, like, I think-
mix, PJ?
I can't remember what the country was, but he was like, you know what? African films don't really have, there's not that many, so I'm going to make my own. Well, he only had $200. And he was like, fuck, what can I make with $200? I know, a blockbuster action film.
Was that the one you showed me? That? Oh God, fucking horrible.
And
It's so good.
So imagine like a bunch of middle schoolers with like a flash player, like special effects. So the plot is like some guy named Captain Alex gets shot, which I don't remember. I don't even think it was ever shown on screen. And spoiler alert, you never find out who shot Captain Alex in Who Shot Captain Alex. And it's like this the best part for me was like the when they drop the title, he's like the guy looks straight up into the camera and he's like, "Who shot Captain Alex? Who?"
I like the helicopter scene.
Oh yeah, and so there's a drive-by helicopter shootout. Like he drives by in it, and it's just him with like this siege, like this like painted on,
Not
like
even CGI.
yeah, no, it was like literally like MS Paint helicopter that says Ghetto Air Force. I shit you not, and he's like, "Oh no, I kill you in sequel," and actual dialogue. And, like, the operation is Operation Cut Off Tiger's Balls. And, like, the bad guys are Tiger Mafia, and every time one of them dies, they yell, "Tiger Mafia!" Ah! It's, oh, God, it's magic. It's worse than The Room. And it's on YouTube. Support this guy because, like, he made one of the most unintentionally funniest movies of all time. And it deserves all of the fun we make of it, but at the same time, all the donations or all the money that he makes from it goes to the actual village that he lives in.
That's cool. Yeah.
So, you know,
Boo.
well,
Support, boo.
I support it.
it's amazing. Watch
Yeah.
it, laugh at it.
I'm in
awesome.
Dallas.
Pray that they make
Boo.
another sequel.
Boo
Right,
everything.
dude. I have
so
this
good.
Nigerian. I have a couple of Nigerian friends from when I did the church camp, but one of them really got into doing film editing for a little bit, and he did a couple trailers. And like this guy has always been funny to me, but he just took. I think it was the Amazing Spider-Man 2. He took just the trailer and he overdubbed it, and he's a very thick Nigerian accent, and he was like, "Africa Spider-Man, dude," and it was just one of the funniest things I've ever seen, and like. Yeah, it's just cool. Like I really enjoy.
I do love those re-edits where it's like they take one film and make it a different kind of film, like The Elf as like a thriller.
Yeah,
And-
dude.
and,
The
like,
music, yeah, I know what
It,
you're talking about.
but instead of it's Cat in the Hat. It's
Yeah.
hilarious.
Did you watch that Bel Air one? So the freshman's Bel Air, but
Yeah,
all
yeah.
dramatic. Now was when they want to redo it as dramatic. Oh, dude, some kid just made a trailer. Like
Poor
dude,
Will Smith.
It looks so good though. Like it was so good. Like Carlton's. Like,
Everybody thought it was real. We were all
Yeah.
expecting to see it like next year on Netflix, and it never
it was
happened.
fake. And so now Will Smith them like, yeah, we're gonna produce that, and they're trying Netflix and HBO battling for that thing.
Yeah, that's cool.
Millions for that thing.
Hey,
That one guy
everyone's gonna
been in
watch it.
COVID.
It's a big deal.
Dude, it looks so good too. Carlton's like, I don't care about you, Will. Dude,
I'm gonna have to,
so
I'm
good.
gonna
I
have
was
to
like,
look it up.
Carlton-
I swear I showed it
It's
to
called
you,
Bel Air.
dude.
Dude,
It
it's
gets like
so-
intense
I
where
did-
you're
I
like,
did not
I would
realize that
so
wasn't
watch
real.
that.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I was
I'm gonna have to look it
hyped
up
for it to come out, and then
post-podcast.
it was not.
We all
real
thought it was
the whole
real.
time.
Yeah.
It was just they were
They were
just
bored
making
in
it.
COVID.
I don't remember
I
that.
was like, that's so cool.
Then Will Smith goes out and like interviews him.
And now HBO and Netflix are back. These guys are gonna make millions.
Yeah.
See, they know how to do a quarantine. We didn't do too well. They make
You
millions, but
guys
we got
think
13
Tiger King
viewers,
would have
baby.
been as
Yeah,
big
we
as
got
it
the
was if
13
it
viewers.
wasn't for quarantine?
No, 100% not.
This was before quarantine. It was
No,
like a year or two ago.
he's talking about Tiger King. Like,
Well, yeah, because like everything, we're talking about things blowing up on Netflix. I really don't think Tiger King would have been.
It wouldn't have.
I think it would have been like meme worthy.
I still haven't watched it.
it would have been
No,
niche. It would have been niche,
Yeah,
like, for sure.
Yeah, but like it would have been like a cult thing. But I
Yeah.
pretty much like for 3 months was everything anyone talked about.
Right. Yes. You haven't even seen it. You watch everything.
That's
you
really
haven't seen
weird.
If
I
you've
watched-
seen
I
the
don't know.
memes,
I
you
just-
basically get the
I
it.
gist.
haven't
Really, you really
seen
have.
it.
Yeah.
My favorite meme.
Gay
of
meth
all-
addict, abuses tigers while
Sexually?
hypocrite, yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
While evil Hillary Clinton wannabe does the same thing but says she doesn't, and then she also killed her husband. And then there's a cult leader that no one wants to talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then there's also a
His curiosity.
yeah. And there's also a sex cult leader that's also in the film, but no one
Yeah,
talks
no one
about.
talks
Like,
about him,
oh,
yeah.
it's fine that he's totally abusing these girls, whatever. He's got
Psychologically.
a mullet, so it's fine.
Although Carol Baskin, as much as I hate her, she does have a pretty cool opening line on her videos. Hey, all you cool cats and kittens! Like that's pretty.
Get out, PJ. Get
Is that
out.
what you said last Friday?
yeah, I said it at the jazz
I was
gig.
trying
I
to
got
laugh at
so
where we
many
got that
laughs.
from.
It was so funny. But okay, so
It's
that
like
was,
it's the perfect jazz opener line.
cool.
Hey, all you cool cats and kittens out there! Welcome to the Scat Jazz
Which might I
Lounge.
say was one of the best abrupt endings to a concept that I've ever seen.
No joke.
And
we're
we're not
done.
gonna get into that, but
I'm done. yeah.
we're jumping to the second
Give him Lauryn Hill.
apocalyptic scenario.
Lauryn Hill.
David, I'll give you an option. You want to go with B or C?
What?
B or C? Pick one.
Let's go with D.
Now we're talking about
Okay,
world ending.
D. So
want big-
we went with D. Okay, so we had this COVID thing with the virus. How mad are you guys that we didn't get zombies out of all this?
Oh, hold on. That's still on the table, PJ. And I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Because your boy, Bill Gates, is promising everyone a magic vaccine, even though he has nothing to do with science. Well, I mean, he does science, but you know what I mean, medicine.
Yeah.
And so he's promising us a vaccine that he's going to somehow make himself, while actual, medical scientists can't. And my bet is we all take this, forced vaccine, and we all get cured of COVID, and then we get the whole Will Smith I Am Legend thing, and we all turn into white supremacist vampire zombies.
Well, if you look at every type of medicine that we get, you go on the internet, you look up the side effects, right? At the very end, it says can cause a mutation. Every single
Or
medicine that
anal
we take.
seepage.
Yeah, I mean, there's everything's just dead. You know that.
No, that's true. That's in almost every one of them. You're gonna cure your depression? Anal seepage.
Let's
Fuck
go
you.
pull up a leaf.
It's a real thing. Look it up.
Side effects will be nausea or whatever. And at the very end of this big, long thing, it says, and can cause human mutation.
So you're
I was
saying,
like, dude, every pill says that.
so you're saying at any moment in time, any of us are
Yes, please.
one
be
dose of
mutated.
medication from being zombies. That's hard to.
Or having stuff leak out of your butt.
Oh yeah, one of the two. I don't know.
I'm cool with either.
I know zombies are played out, but it would be so crazy to experience something like that. We never will. I honestly, we never will. But still, it'd be pretty intense.
I think we're more likely at this point to get the whole AI thing before the zombie
zombies
thing.
are-
No, we got the K2 monster.
That's point E. Okay, we'll
What
get
about
there.
the guy that smoked K2 in Florida and ate the guy's face on camera?
Yeah, but
That's
also there
close.
was.
I thought
that was
I thought
insane.
that
The CDC had to put this is not a zombie infection.
I didn't think that was
That's so
I
crazy,
didn't think
yeah.
that was K2. I thought that was
bath salts.
That's all my bad.
the bath salt or that
Yeah,
was
but
it made
there
of
have been-
alligator or
there have
something
been-
or crocodile.
Yeah. No, it was definitely bath salts.
So it was a
he was a
designer
homeless
drug
guy, I think.
for meth, and they fucking ate the dude's face off.
That's
and I remember
crazy.
that CDC's like,
Well, there's also another guy, or is it the same guy that got shot by the cops like a bajillion times?
No, that's
Before going down.
There's a lot of different, so I think he was on PVC. That's pretty common. In fact,
PCP?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's abominant fluid, right? That's what you put.
yeah. And
What?
so yeah. And who thought to do
seriously
that
smoke
first? That was actually pretty popular in the early 1900s.
Are you serious?
That's what
Yeah,
I say, you
Sherlock
dip-
Holmes did it in the books.
That's why you dip it. It's called you dip it in a cigarette. It's like been dipped 20 times. That
Jeffrey?
means they dried it and they kept doing it. Usually you only do it once or twice. You smoke it and you trip. So I've heard.
Yeah, we don't.
So
we,
I've heard.
I know some people in the morgue. They're working, yeah, but some people work in the morgue. They still a bomb fluid.
That's crazy.
Why wouldn't you? First thing I'd do.
Money right there.
Not the first thing I would do.
No, you would probably be the guy that would just sit
No.
there and paint the nails.
No, he's the guy who sticks his finger in the socket. Remember?
No, what? That's what? What?
Remember, he randomly walks up to me. He's like, "Hey, just in case if you ever get the urge to do it, if you touch the socket in your
It's not a
bathroom,
socket, it's a light
gonna
switch.
electrocute you."
And it does. It gives you a little zap.
No, you're
Yeah.
touching the actual outlet.
No, I was touching the flipper.
What do you guys think of
Yes.
Kevin Costner's Waterworld, though? I think
I'll
we
go
should
do it
talk
right
about
now.
Kevin Costner movies.
I'll go do
Hey,
it
let's
right
take
now.
this podcast to the
Let's
bathroom.
go to the bathroom.
It's literally
trip.
Everybody naked.
because what I did is I still had my hand.
tonight.
I still had my hand in the water, and I went to go cut the light off.
Well, that's
and
your
it
own
went-
dumbass fault.
And it shocked me.
That's such a weird.
I shouldn't do that.
Well, I mean, if you've ever seen an episode of Pokemon, you know that Ash's Pikachu always going to beat Blastoise every time.
You don't fuck around Pikachu, bro.
Level 100 never evolved.
Gangster.
That poor kid.
There was never an evolving Pikachu, right? It was just
Well, you have to use a Thunderstone to turn him into Raichu, so he
Okay,
never
right.
did
That's
that.
what it was.
Okay, so zombies highly unlikely. Also, I think we would
Train to
would
Busan's
destroy
awesome.
it. Yeah, but do you think?
I would not want those zombies though.
The peninsula was good.
I want the nice slow zombies.
Do you think that if there ever was a zombie outbreak, do you think it would be pretty easily containable, or do you think it would just?
Fuck no.
Couldn't COVID.
What are you trying to say? I can't party. I want to party.
I think it'd be a little different if we looked outside and
Oh, put it this
we
way.
had a case of zombie in Seattle today. He ate
They
a
just
man's
shot that
face
guy
off.
because he's black.
All right, and
no,
we'd be
he's a
like,
zombie. No.
Let me explain why I think no. So first of all,
Okay.
people are stupid by nature, so no. And most people
Zombie rights.
Well, most people would try to hide their zombie bite. Most people wouldn't tell anybody.
wouldn't tell you.
Exactly.
Dude, because you're going to get domed. Because this is what you want to turn into a zombie because hopefully you get a cure. That's the last thing. Is like, maybe I should live. Maybe they might cure me later on.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
So there's that. But let's be real. anytime something like this happens, if there's anything negative that should unite us, we always turn it into some weird political thing and fight amongst each other.
That's pretty
over
new,
it.
though.
No, it's not. No. Swine flu was political. It just
That's
wasn't.
new. Swine flu was new. Anything after 2000s, anything with
Anything post 2001, where we had the unconstitutional Patriot Act, where we legalized, spying on people in our own country.
NSA, baby. I hear you. You're here listening
Shout
right
out
now.
to our FBI agent.
What's up?
Which I did try to say that
I did try that casserole and it was delicious.
That was the only year I voted. Was in 2004.
Yeah.
Yeah, just because I was like, okay, let me do this. If I get Kerry in there, because the Dems didn't want this Patriot Act, they would revoke it. Well, instead, I knew this was going to happen. They had it for 8 years. Obama gets there, was like, hey, I'm going to fuck with this too.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
so now
they-
they got to kick
Yeah, bullshit. They all want it. Yeah.
No, but not in 2004. They were like, Kerry's like, no, we got to stop this Patriot Act thing. It's going too far. Well, then, no, now they had it for 8 years with it. Then Obama gets, he's like, let's fuck with it some more.
Yep.
And so they just changed the name.
Yeah.
That's why I give the AOC chick the props, is that she's the only one still trying to stop it. That's the only thing that's fucking good about it. She's
That's
always
the
like,
only
no.
positive thing I can agree with you
That's
on
like
that.
the most positive thing you
Yeah.
need. She's like, no, we gotta stop the Patriot, because just because y'all change the name doesn't mean that still ain't legal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, I can't
love
believe
you.
you made me say something nice
I know.
about that woman.
Hey, bro, I do that. I don't find anything nice with anybody, bro.
In communism.
So essentially, you're saying that we would make zombieism political.
Of course.
Yes.
we make everything political
Can't even
now.
wear a fucking mask.
So
fucking
so
spit in the
people are
face. It's
stupid.
hilarious.
It would become political. Any other reason why we wouldn't be able to stop it?
Well, I mean, what's the cure for it? What causes it? Like if
Okay,
something's
what if
able-
it spread the same way that COVID spread?
how has COVID spread? We still never figured that out, did we?
Um,
Because we have too
it's
many
not-
conflicting
It's
information.
obviously it's not by air, right? It's
Not yet.
No, it's literally the same way a flu spreads.
yeah, which is
coughing
actual
season,
contact.
It's
you know,
not
germs.
airborne. So they say some. They're like, well, it has potential. They think it's. Airborne
I was thinking
right
it would be like The Happening. Like we're all like, The Happening's coming. It's like, here's go COVID.
Oh, wavy trees. Oh, the
I thought
wind
that's
blew.
when they said it was airborne. That's
That
like
is-
immediately what I think
I thought it
of.
was
The
like a
Happening.
in my
That's
top
what?
10.
Aliens, the
My
monsters are in
favorite
there.
part of the movie, besides the part where okay, so the three best parts of the movie. So Mark Wahlberg's infamous "What? No" line delivery is amazing, but I also love the scene where the old woman just randomly starts going "Meh," and then like "Bruh, bruh, bruh," into the window, and it's like supposed to be terrifying, and it's like just kind of like so
Terrified
like
me.
stupid. But the best part of the movie is like this weird homeless looking dude randomly has like a 5-minute like, quirky and like, oh, look how weird he is, but it's cool because he's smart speech about why he likes hot dogs, and it's just like the most forced randomly. He's like, you like hot dogs? I like hot dogs because you can fit them in a bun and you put ketchup on them.
That guy was cool.
No, fuck that guy. Fuck M. Night Shyamalan.
I thought he was your boy.
Dude, he
Dude,
is
The
my
Visit-
boy.
The Visit was the
The
shit.
Visit is actually a legit
They
good
fucking
movie.
scared me.
Back to zombies.
No, hold on.
What
There's
was
a
there?
movie where he because he's famous for his stupid plot twists.
What a twist.
And my two favorite M. Night Shyamalan plot twists. There's one called Devil, which, by the way, the devil was an old lady who was dead in the first 2 minutes. Stupid.
Oh, the one about the elevator, right?
Yeah, but the best part of the movie is like they're
Rest in
like the
peace.
security guards are watching this all helplessly because they can't do anything because plot, and they're like, oh my god, we need to find out like the Mexican dude's like, in Mexico we have this tradition where we take toast and we put jelly on it, and if the jelly side lands on the floor, the devil's around. And I'm just sitting here in the theater like, what? That's not a what? You just made that up.
It's a real
Yeah,
thing,
it's a real thing.
Is it really?
Yes.
It sounds made up as fuck.
Well,
And of course the jelly side's gonna hit the
So
ground.
does all the stuff on Supernatural, but those are real too.
Yeah. Well, you just ruined the joke on that one.
I know. I had to cut you off.
But,
You just look like an asshole.
but in his magnum opus, Lady in the Water, the big plot twist is some kid who stares at cereal boxes is actually a prophet, and looking at the back of a Cheerios box, he's able to figure out how to send evil demons back to hell and save an angel.
I believe
Isn't that the one where like one guy had one big bicep and one little bicep?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's also the one where the
Harry
villains
Potter's
are,
in there, right?
Is he?
no.
Harry Potter's
No,
in there.
no, it's the pretty redhead, and
Oh.
the main character's name is Cleveland Heap, which is hilarious.
See, I
'cause
never
it's-
seen that. I want to watch that now.
Oh, we're gonna have to watch it.
Well, only because the twist you're talking about. See, crazy shit like that though. Turns out the
No,
true
well,
ones are
well, the thing is the villains are called like the Schnumps, and like the main girl is like a nerd, and she's from like fantasy world. It's just all like what? Just dumb, amazingly M. Night Shyamalan stuff.
I thought Signs was fucking great.
That's an amazing movie.
Yeah, until you actually think about it.
Yeah,
And
like,
you're like,
Wait. You're telling me
Damn
I
it.
got to go to a movie and think about them?
Okay,
I just wanna turn my brain off.
Whatever, PJ,
an
mister.
alien-
Passenger doesn't make sense.
I knew you'd call
An
me
al-
out, man.
an-
Interstellar. My science tells me this. I know science.
An alien
That's true.
species invades a planet that's 70% water, and their only weakness is water. They also have no weapons, and they
No
have
protective suits.
and they can get from space to here, and they have opposable thumbs, but he can't figure out how to open a door.
They're hard. Do you ever
'cause
try to
it-
open a door?
It has to do with the reason it comes has to do with gold. That's why they mine gold in the ancient, or I believe the ancient aliens mined.
No, but we're actually kind of that's plausible.
Go ahead.
But wait a second, and then
Dude, but our boys in that one too.
which one's our
Joaquin
bull?
Phoenix.
My favorite part of the movie though is when they run outside to confront who they think is a human, and
Yeah.
they're running and Joaquin's like, I'm gonna kill you, and Mel Gibson's like, I'm angry, I'm really mad right now.
Yeah, but I think the whole thing had to do. What did it have to do with Mel Gibson?
His wife died, and
yeah,
he used to be
telling
a
everything.
preacher, and he's like, I don't believe in God now. And then all of a sudden, aliens show up, and now I've reaffirmed my faith. Like,
Well,
what?
it had to do with tell him to swing away. Everything
Yeah.
had to do, and everything all clicked at once. He was like,
Yeah.
"Holy shit, the asthma!"
Oh, thank
That's why
God
the
this girl is really weird about her taste in water, so we can have all these cups of water mysteriously sitting around.
Little does Waylon know. That's why I leave that much liquid in all my drinks in case aliens show up.
And then the little kid asthma. That's why he inhaled the stuff. Then the dude being in baseball. I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
okay, get him, Mel Gibson."
Well, okay, so that's scenario E or D that Waylon
Also,
talked
the
about.
part
What
where
was that?
he's
Alien invasion or zombies?
That was alien. No, it was.
There was zombies
Dang
in the
it!
alien
We
invasion,
switched.
sorry.
We just waiting the B. Okay,
No,
how
the
likely is
most-
the alien invasion?
pretty. It's already happened.
Yeah, but what I mean, I don't mean like an alien incursion or alien surveillance. I mean, they're showing up. It's freaking Battle LA, and we're going at it. How
Are you
likely
talking
is
about
that?
the real Battle of LA or the movie?
Oh,
Yeah, that's actually
There's
there
real-
was an
so
actual Battle of
19
LA.
They got pictures of them shooting at the fucking
Okay,
UFO.
And then there was a DC invasion, and then you got the Arizona Lights. You got
Okay, okay. So I want to
trying to do a ufologist.
I want to talk about both of these, okay, for sure, because that's interesting to me. In my head, it's like the movie where they're shooting at us, we're shooting at
one
them.
with Michelle Rodriguez.
Yeah.
And,
my
Two-Face.
boy, Freak, he's into it too. But I really like what's his face? Oh, dang it,
yeah, that guy.
Mexican guy,
Michael Pena?
Racist.
Michael Pena, dude, I love that
Michael
guy.
Pena's awesome.
Yeah, and he's in that. He's not being funny, Michael
remember
Pena.
him in that.
Yeah, he's the dad.
Yeah,
That he picks up the
Oh,
gun.
I know. I'm not saying he wasn't. I just don't remember him.
That's what-
was
I
he
think-
one of the soldiers?
No,
he
he's
was
the.
one of the
he was a
civilians
civilian?
out that-
Yeah,
that gets
he's the
picked up.
dad with the little boy, right?
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
and
yeah.
I think that was the first thing I'd ever seen him in, and he wasn't being funny. He was just being that character, right?
he's a great
Scared
actor.
as crap, I was like, who is this guy? And then later on, he started showing up in all these cool things. But anyways, that's the movie I saw him in. And when he picks up that gun, and they're like, we were supposed to be doing that, because he died for that, right? Anyways, but that's how I view it. So has you think anything like that'll happen, where it's like all out war with some aliens?
Nah, I think if they this is what's gonna happen. If we use the nukes, I think they'll come in because I think that's how they transform. Obviously, apes to humans. They had to obviously put their DNA just like Prometheus talked about. It makes sense because the jump doesn't make any sense. Why isn't the apes doing it now? Why is it doesn't make sense how that jump happened?
Yeah.
So,
Okay, that's fair.
Well,
yeah.
so if you want to get into the
So they want to.
Did you stop?
I thought it's 'cause they
wanna
found
let Detroit-
mushrooms.
It's like an experiment for them.
Okay.
Okay,
I
you can't
mean,
fuck it up.
actually-
They can't let the experiment kill
Oh,
them.
they
So-
found a mushroom,
so
they
they
ate it, and it
intervene,
developed their
stop,
brain because they started eating
see
more
how this
proteins
plays
and
out.
stuff.
Another thing that you guys are also forgetting. So scientifically, though, like what we think of as like pre-us is cavemen. It's technically a different species. There is the Neanderthals and us. We're slightly different. We have like a little less developed forehead,
Yeah.
bone structure wise. So we have like more intelligence. We were just not
Yeah.
as strong. But the theory behind that, if you actually believe in the ancient alien shit, not the History Channel show, which is but the actual theory is that
Aliens.
the what's called the Anunnaki, which is like the
Very, very-
gods that the first civilization, the Sumerians, worshipped, and they basically look like predecessors to the Egyptian gods, like with the beard and stuff.
Right.
And they were here essentially to mine gold, like they were obsessed with gold. And the theory behind it is that because they created us in the mythology, but the whole thing is they took some of the cavemen and they spliced their DNA with the cavemen, and that's what created us as and we were essentially a slave race, which is why we were why we initially want to worship something.
And it's not too crazy because CRISPR does the same thing. That
Yeah.
They got. So
I mean, that's the big theory, and they got some gold, and it was basically like because we're in the middle of nowhere essentially, like we're like the boonies, and they're like, okay, well we got lost,
gold.
and so we get some gold, and then we'll just come back, and they just forgot about it because it was a road trip.
Yeah.
And the theory is that like so Alpha Centauri, I believe, is the solar system or whatever part of the galaxy that a lot of these like the grays, so to speak, come from. And the theory is that like we're being visited, and the reason why nothing's happened yet is because there's too many different like groups of power and influence all pretty much playing Game of Thrones for who gets to dominate this region, because we're supposedly going to be like the next part. And so you have like different groups. So like the theory is that there's like the known, quote unquote, because you can't really know if any of this is bullshit.
I do.
Well, because you talk to like most of the people that like, oh, I know aliens, they're all crazy. Oh, I met an alien. Well, yeah, you took a hallucinogenic. Like, of course you met an alien. If I told you you're gonna meet Scooby-Doo when you took this, you'd probably meet Scooby-Doo. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. But like you have the reptilians, which are the hostile ones. Like they're the ones that everyone has.
That one I think is dumb. When the human, the shapeshifters. That okay.
They're not necessarily shapeshifters. That's the conspiracy theory side. These are like actual like supposedly they live under the ground shit, and they were actually here before us, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So you have them.
Doctor Who.
Yeah, that's actually what that's based on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Doctor Who is based
off of that. Yeah.
So you have like the Nordics, which are basically like giant Viking-looking people. You have like an elvish-looking race, like they're really like tall and thin.
These are all aliens.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you have like another one that's like giant praying mantis or something. Like it's just it's kind of far-fetched, but supposedly we have contact with them. And there's like a Council of 9 or something like that. And they're the ones that are trying to decide. It's like all Star Trek sounding bullshit. Where we're like, oh, I don't know. I think these humans can join us.
Okay, so but you guys don't think that? Well, you know what you're about to say. You guys,
Open war? No.
You don't. They would never just like, we're taking you guys.
They would never. It's just like I said. There's so many fractions involved.
Yeah.
Not fractions, factions. That to have all-out open war would destroy this planet immediately, and it would just deplete all the resources. And if we're the resource, it would destroy us.
So it's almost like this is a gas station for them to go somewhere. I think I forgot what to say. The gold. See, it has to do with gold and space. That's why we use gold, because of the way it stores energy. And
it's one of the most useful elements of all time.
So I think they come, you mine it and take off. Then it's almost like a little gas station.
That's right. So. Do you think it's possible they might even have like a little like galactic treaty where they can't like try to take
that's exactly what I'm saying. I think we're basically Antarctica.
So essentially what you're saying is that there will never be an alien invasion.
No, I think
I didn't say that.
I think if we were at the nuke it, okay, we're gonna come stop these nukes.
I think it's also more of a whoever gets an edge out there and wants to be bold. I think right now there's like a power stalemate because everyone kind of has the same technology.
Yeah, well, maybe they're all in the same like union essentially.
Yeah, well, right now, I mean, we're pretty easy to control.
Dude, I just thought of I'm gonna say it because it's not gonna be ever made anyways. But I just thought of a crazy movie twist. Can you imagine like where there's some kind of like a war movie like that? And they decided to go with nukes, just like David said, and right before the nukes hit, like then out of nowhere, aliens just show up and go stop, and they stop everything, and everybody's like, "What the crap?" And then like movie over.
Then
And that noise comes in.
It would just be such a left turn.
Then turn my radio
Imagine
down.
1917 ends with like the aliens and stuff.
Right, it'd be insane. Like the nuke's about to drop, like all out war. Then all of a sudden, all the nukes just don't work.
Completely different, like but similar. Is I always wanted to make like a stereotypical rom com. Like the trailer's like Adam Sandler falls in love with Jennifer.
He was a guy. She was just a girl.
And like no indication that it's gonna be anything but a shit cheesy rom com.
Yeah.
And like generic, paint by the numbers, and then like in the middle of like the movie, all of a sudden like a zombie outbreak happens, and like it's like this super intense horror movie.
Dude, that's why I like that End of the Apocalypse movie. Like,
that was actually really good.
Because the trailer starts with, it's Christmas, like it's a musical. The next day she's fucking killing zombies.
Dude, it was actually really good.
Such
Like
a good soundtrack was great.
Didn't see it.
I want to talk about it with you later, so we don't spoil it for Waylon. Where I watch it with him.
So there's zombies and it's an apocalypse.
It's a zombie musical.
The lady's name's Anna.
and it's the
Spoiler twist.
But yeah, okay. So I get what you're saying. You're in agreement there that it's kind of like one of those things where they're not really going to do anything.
I mean, it's never nothing's outside the realm of possibility,
but
it's highly unlikely, at least in our lifetime.
Okay.
And I think the Space Force thing is probably them trying to get us prepared for the fact that, hey, yeah, aliens definitely exist, and we also have had our own space fleet for a while. And
that would be insane.
Now you know.
That would be so
By the
insane.
way, we've been traveling.
Hey, so you
to
guys
the
be like,
planets.
What the crap?
Did you guys somehow fuck yourselves and are arguing? Hey, he's talking about this alien shit. Dude, that's crazy. Pentagon, they're not putting money into it.
Yeah.
Pentagon says, we just opened this new division. You got Navy, Marines. Now we got the USOFATP. something weird like that.
You know me.
But I was like, dude.
Dude, it's
It just makes me want to watch. What's the the
Movie
Starship
show.
Troopers?
Oh, yeah.
oh yeah, dude. I remember that. The
I was like,
bugs.
Super Troopers?
Oh,
bugs.
Yeah, well, I always get the name
Oh,
Oh,
confused.
Dookie
Basically.
Howser comes in. He's all fucking getting the brain. Was it
Yeah.
Dookie Howser? Was it
Yeah,
Neil Patrick
yeah.
Harris? Dude,
Yeah.
I would be so pissed if I found out that we've actually already been traveling. You know?
I'm gonna be pissed because I've always been one of those people that's like born too late to explore the world, born too early to explore space.
Yeah, yeah.
You know.
But we had to, but you
And
found
I
out we
totally
already
get
were.
fucked
you
out
know?
of exploring space because you know.
because of Starship Troopers, I kill roaches constantly.
Did that, right.
Do your part.
That's the weird
yeah.
thing, like about we start talking about space travel and stuff like that, is how relativity works with time. Like our perception of time is very limited to what we experience on Earth, and like it's another one of those things where you don't think about how like
Yet he hated that movie with Matthew McConaughey.
that's totally different. So you're talking about gravity. That's a completely different thing. But I'm talking about speed, and
Gravity. That's that shit. You're
talking about-
yeah, he's talking about time. They were talking about time dilation within gravity, which is really a thing. But then the only thing I don't want to get into that movie again because I'm gonna get off on a tangent. But the only thing I didn't like about it was like the last 5 minutes of it. So before that, it was fine.
I actually agree with that. I thought
Are
the
we
plot
talking
twist was
about
lame.
Interstellar?
Yeah.
because okay,
No, Gravity sucked. I hated that.
I'm going to talk
movie.
about it for 2 minutes, and I want to get back to what I was talking about. Okay, so again, most of it was fine, but one of the things they pushed themselves as a marketing thing and like whatever, getting Neil deGrasse Tyson dude in there was like how scientifically accurate it is, and then they go off the deep end and throw that out the window. The last 5 minutes, they go, "Oh, we're cool and edgy, and we want to do something weird that makes no sense. It has no scientific founding in it." That's what bugged me.
Neil deGrasse Tyson is
He's a douchebag.
not a real astrophysicist.
He's a douchebag.
Everybody's like, yeah, he has no
I
intelligence.
just
in
like
this
how
department.
he was
He was just
criticizing
real smart.
Titanic because they chose the wrong Star Trek, and I'm like,
Yeah,
what?
he literally spits out like our undergraduate level science stuff. And you're like, oh yeah, you're idiots if you can't learn that. Like, yeah, dude, like get over it.
Yeah,
not-
but
but
like
he's
Neil
funny, I like
deGrasse Tyson is essentially just a modern day Bill Nye.
He really is,
Bill
yeah.
Nye is not
Most-
really a science guy. He's an engineer, but he's not a scientist.
I follow.
Let me defend
Yeah, you're
both of them because you can criticize them for not being real scientists, but that's not the point. Their point is they're able, unlike most actual scientists who have like a lot of like shit social skills and
Yeah,
can't
I'll
actually
give you
teach
that.
science. Neil deGrasse Tyson and Bill Nye have a gift that very few people that know a little bit about scientists have, and their whole mission is to get young kids into science so they can actually become scientists and we can actually develop in the future. So regardless of if they're douchebags
or
or
if
if
the
they're not
science
smart.
they're talking about is wrong.
The
Anyway,
get-
Well, if the science is wrong, sure.
You can't teach them
But
wrong
you should,
science.
if you actually know the scientific method, you should never take anyone's word for their word
And
anyway.
the gift you're talking about is a little bit of charisma, but B, mostly having a marketing team.
True, but it's without that ability to take something that sounds complicated and make it sound simple enough for the average person.
Yeah,
or
I
child to
agree.
understand.
I'm agreeing with you. I'm just saying, like he's one of
I
those
can't
guys.
tell you how many scientists that are our age that got into science because of Bill Nye.
Yeah.
And then the generation before us was, what's the guy from Cosmos, the original one, Carl Sagan. Who is a legit
Yeah, he
scientist
is
and a genius. He pretty much is the reason why most average Americans even know about half the science.
No,
they know.
and I'll give you that. And to an extent, like I would say, like 90%, yeah. Once you get into to the nitty gritty of like actually learning about these things, that's when and again, it's all about disinformation or misinformation, and that's one of those things that it depends who you're appealing to, and there's a lot of people out there that are kind of like in that middle ground. So when you talk about the spectrum, even like the political spectrum, what we're talking about, you got people that and I'm not hating on anybody when I say this, but you have people who like didn't ever went to college, like barely graduated high school, that they will just believe anything, right? And oh yeah, like, so they just believe
Hey, I thought
Yeah, but-
M&M's was a candy.
Oh, yeah. So, but there's some people like that aren't the kind of people that go out and try to find information themselves, because there's a huge difference. There's a difference from someone who has that mind of finding real information that will just believe anything, right?
Okay.
And that's not even the people that I had the problem with, right? That's understood. But then you have people like, and I don't care who's watching this. This might be if you think it's a dig at you, then it's probably about you. We have
I'm
a lot
gonna
of
make a
people.
counter argument.
We have a
but
lot of
sure.
people in like even our Facebooks that got their bachelor's degree in
Okay,
mostly
good, 'cause this is
music.
where I was gonna go.
Yeah, mostly music. Okay, that took a science class, maybe 2 science classes. That think they understand all this shit. Who listen to the disinformation that people that have this barely have an accreditation to be a scientist like Bill Nye, who again I mostly like until recently, or Neil deGrasse, who are mostly making political statements or PR statements, right?
And
but
I
the
agree
thing
with
is
you
to do
on that.
is they take that and they use it as a defense to these people who don't really know better, to make them feel bad about themselves when then themselves are incorrect.
So my thing is
don't
like
like
this is
you,
why I
Neil
have a
deGrasse
problem with
Tyson.
universities is like so for example your girl AOC has a bachelor's degree in economics. That school needs to be shut down and send her money back. But like because I actually sat in on a college history class that my
Yeah.
ex-girlfriend was going to, and the professor was literally saying things that you could just Google and prove are false
Yes.
because like you're just literally making shit up. And this happens in almost every university, and regardless of what politics it leans towards, everyone's biased these days. That's my point about
Yeah.
like zombies.
That's why I dropped out in high school.
Yeah, because I mean, everyone's
drugs.
instead of telling the facts anymore, we always tell our feelings. And the truth is, your feelings are irrelevant. Whether
Yeah.
you can like it doesn't matter. Like the Earth is round, it's not flat.
Yeah, we're gonna get there too.
Dinosaurs existed. Evolution does not prove that religion is wrong, and religion doesn't prove that evolution is wrong. If you think that the Bible is literal, that's fine, but in no way does that mean that God's days are the same as our concept of time. That's
Yeah.
pretty blasphemous for you to assume that you know how long that is. So that again doesn't prove evolution's wrong.
Yeah.
But
Now-
let's be real. Evolution could have been freaking aliens showing up, and because God sent them.
And God, it just depends on
And
what
God
they
is
think.
probably Jeff Goldblum.
I'm 100% in the camp that religion and science should and do coexist together. So
Most of history in general and science it
Well,
comes
history is
Ain't
written
so-
by the victor. So
yeah,
Inside.
and that goes back to what I was just saying. Like it's all about we're in the information age, obviously, right? It's all about who's controlling information and who has the power to
I
spin
mean, I was
it.
gonna say, like, we live in a generation where we came up with the internet, right?
Yeah.
So literally the greatest idea of all time, like infinite free information. And the first thing we did was A, put up porn, but B, which that's science, you gotta have that. But then we're like, all right, so we have this amazing idea. Let's find a way to fuck it up immediately and just fill it with shit that's not true.
social media.
And then we're like,
Yeah.
we should totally regulate that, which is also the worst idea because now it can be all false information,
Yeah.
and that's terrible.
Here's the last thing I'll really say on it. It goes back to exactly what you just said about universities. It's one of those things where you really realize how much of a problem this is when you have gone through it and have gone back and seen where these people that you went through it with are what they're doing with their lives. So what I mean by that is, we both graduated, right? And that makes us no better. It's just something we just did, right? So we went through college and we've seen the people that also have gone through college and graduated, and how little
I've been
effort it
taught by
takes.
them.
Right? How little you can pay attention and come out off a B or a C or a D even and graduate, right?
Well, I mean,
And so one of the things that you see, so past that, there's this wide range of who can get through or not, right? So I would say, I'm not going to throw any numbers out there, but I would say a huge portion of people that go through with the degrees have no clue what they're doing. You can look at even just the music degrees
most of
that
the
are given
degrees are
out.
bullshit. That's
Yeah.
another problem.
Yeah, but I'm
You-
saying
you put these bullshit ideas that have no merit on the same level as actual proven science, and you're like, oh well, you can't prove it's wrong, so yeah, but like fucking poop is green theory is not as good as chemistry. So shut the fuck up.
Yeah, but what I'm really saying is like
Because you eat too much lettuce?
It's
I drink too
actually
much
more
milk,
of
my
a.
poop does turn green.
It's more of
Scientific
like a intestinal inflammation.
Cause
yeah. So what I'm really just saying is that like there's a level
listening.
there's a level of
Ish, maybe.
No,
Steak and shake.
there's just a certain amount of like there's just a certain amount of people that get through that probably shouldn't but will because it's just how it is, right? And a lot of those people go through
It's the same way people get driver's license.
Yeah,
man.
I know. I'm just saying, but a lot of those people that go through, most of those people, especially out of college that we went to, which I think their highest turnout rate is either nursing or education. So a lot of people that come through, well, guess what they go do? They go be teachers in high schools and middle schools.
Don't get me on a rant about
Right.
education system.
So
in this
what we're doing with
country.
that, there's already a circle of like just people who don't think for themselves, people who barely get by, who are going through and becoming teachers. Like that's one of the things you really figure out is when you start going to teach at a high school, is the people around you and how little clue they actually have about what they're doing. Right?
Or when you turn 16, you get a shit job in fast food or retail, and you realize that everyone in the world is an idiot.
Yeah.
I said before, it's like, dude, I used to make teachers cry because
It's
Same.
just one of
Never
those,
put me in a history class and not know what you're talking about.
it's just one of those things where like that's a perpetuating thing that's happening over decades, right? And so those are the kind of people that are coming out who get these degrees and they think that. Then this is maybe even something that's just like subconsciously in their brains without them knowing it, but they are thinking that they're better than these people who didn't go with these degrees.
It's nothing new.
And
This
like
is system. That's why I have a problem with mainstream science. Is
Yeah.
It's become dogma. It's become a religion.
for sure.
And the whole point of science is the scientific method, which is basically you question everything all the time. And the only way for something to be considered actual proven science is to actually prove it. And the problem is nowadays, and this is my big criticism of Neil deGrasse and Bill, is that they are the dogma now. Because so for example, like a lot of the guys that Joe Rogan interviews were ridiculed for years because they're like fringe scientists with these fringe theories, but no one ever wanted to test their theories. They just called them bullshit, and then all of a sudden they get proven right, and no one has anything to say because they were they purposely suppress new technology, new ideas because it questions their quote unquote proven thing. And the whole point of science is that anytime something's proven false, you move on.
100%.
That's the whole point. And that's why I love science.
Yeah, I don't
And this
I-
is nothing new though, because in like 1800s Britain, like they would do this all the time. They would blackmail scientists that would try to go against the norm. It's
yeah.
the same
that was
thing.
more religion and all that.
Well, that's my point.
yeah,
But that's my
that's what
point.
it's
Is
turned into.
science has become a religion on its own. It's its own dogma. And if you question the known ideas of science,
And the religion has a name. It's called Newtonianism and Einsteinism, I guess. Technically, those are the two things.
yeah, but I don't get
if
why they
you-
dragged Einstein
if
in
you
it.
add
Yeah,
ism
yeah.
to something, it makes it a religion.
Dylan,
Yes.
here's the thing that's happened since Einstein.
Organism?
So basically, ever since Einstein put all his theories out there, literally everything we've done there since then has been based off of that. So if what you're looking at does not fit that, then
Yeah,
you
yeah,
are pushed
exactly,
out. So
exactly,
that's where the
exactly.
dogma comes from, right?
Yeah.
And so to add on to that, like there's people I follow. There's a guy named Ben Davis. He does this thing called Suspicious Observers on YouTube. I've been watching that guy since college. 'Cause he's one of those guys. He's always had these sides with him that they always get ostracized. Anybody that for years now I was just watching it. Anybody that would support them lose their grants immediately,
every time.
right? Because the second that science became political, which because the government's controlling their grants, whether it's the Democrats or Republicans, at that point in time, it is not real science anymore.
That's my point.
so-
Is it's become a joke, and that's like okay.
There's literally this
so-
guy who, like, I'm not joking, since 2013 when I started watching this, maybe 12, I started watching this guy. He probably has literally predicted every earthquake that's happened since 2012 with like 98% accuracy because the number one factor, which they've researched since then, it's the number one factor for earthquakes off of, fault lines, stuff like that, is the sun. Well, if it's electromagnetic field.
Really?
So, yeah, when there's a sunspot or a flare,
Yeah, I think I've heard this.
sun facing, earthquake.
Huh.
And they proved it. And they've written scientific papers, and every single one of them doesn't get a shred of light. Nobody will look at it. No one will even support them because if they do,
and the frustrating thing is everyone's like, oh well, scientists have peer review. Yeah, but if you go against the norm, you get it's
lose your grant.
It's essentially like it's like the red mark, you know, like
Yeah.
you say something against like the written rules and you're immediately cast out.
Yeah,
It's bullshit.
If you lose your grant, you're unemployable and you lose your job. So you're not allowed to teach classes.
That's
Then,
why-
if you're a scientist, you can make drugs.
Become Breaking Bad, right? But anyways, we got
Or
a
you
big
could be
tangent.
Elon
I think
Musk.
we're on the same page. Like, those are the reasons why I have a problem with Tyson and
Yeah.
like and you know Nye. But we'll move on because let's go to something else. Waylon, do you think we would survive an asteroid? That's another apocalyptic scenario.
Yes, because
How
we
big
got,
is the
we got
asteroid?
Bruce Willis and Ben Affleck who know how to oil rig.
Yeah.
John Malkovich.
And
Not
Space
John
Cowboys.
Malkovich.
John
Steve
Malkovich?
Buscemi. No, Steve Buscemi. Sorry.
Space Cowboys too.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Steve.
Space
And Brad
Cowboys,
Pitt,
dude.
if they don't get it, Brad Pitt will get out there and get it.
Right.
I mean, it's better than them shooting the rockets that they're talking about doing.
Oh, the Star Wars thing?
Yeah. Well,
I thought we were just
they're
going to
shooting
play like
well,
Galactica.
So what they're talking about doing really is that they're going to do the rocket and they're going to get it behind the asteroid,
asteroids?
and they're going to shoot. They're going to do like almost the nuke thing.
Galactica 2, where the aliens are invading.
So instead of shooting
Bumblebee
nukes at an asteroid and blowing it up and make it, you know, they have a plan where they're going to put a nuke rocket behind it, put the rocket behind the asteroid, shoot the nukes.
So
and
I
shoot
think
off the
what we
direction.
should do.
Oh, man.
That's their
we-
fucking plan A.
We
Wow.
should just
Best plan ever.
we should just build a wall around Earth.
Force field.
But asteroids still go through it. It's physical.
I don't know, like, you know, one of the cool things I've always really appreciated about how this is one of those things that really kind of pushes me toward like divine creation is how we just have the perfect solar system for deflecting asteroids because of Jupiter. Right, so Jupiter is kind of known as the planet that will just
all the shit.
Anytime there's like somebody coming to have beef with us, like, hey, I'm an asteroid, I'm gonna blow you up. Jupiter goes, nope, and bounces it
sucking
out.
you
You know,
up. And
and
you-
like, and it's just like the most perfect solar system, a single star system. You know how rare that is in the Earth and the universe that we can look out and see.
Well, it's pretty rare in the Earth.
Yeah, obviously. Right.
That's what they're saying because the Goldilocks thing about, you know, we find planets that are exact same things, right?
Yeah.
But the only difference is they don't have
A single star
Jupiter.
system.
Yeah,
They don't have a Jupiter, and most of them don't have a single star system. That's very rare. Most are binary, or sometimes even 3 stars. You know, but a single star system that is as well planned as ours it's hard to find.
That's what I'm saying. If there was another, it's gotten destroyed. It's like an asteroid that's hitting it.
It's
And that's
crazy.
actually
It's just
something
crazy,
I've
man.
always wondered is if the reason why we haven't like until recently found alien life is because like we're the only one that survived because of all the asteroids and stuff.
I actually had a really cool movie idea one time about how like it's just kind of like it would be kind of hard to portray, right? But it would be like the idea is that, you know, we spend our entire existence like searching for other life, and then it turns out that we're just actually so early in the existence of the universe that we're actually the seed that goes out and, you know, colonizes the entire universe.
Yeah, that's already a movie.
What, really?
Yeah.
What
That was
is
the
it?
Brad Pitt movie.
Oh, I was thinking the one where they go to Mars and like they find out that Mars was originally the first Earth. And
Oh, there's that
and
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See,
Well,
what I
Ad
was
Astra's
thinking
the
is,
same
like,
concept.
Like, you know how
Like
like
the red planet? What is that called?
I think so. Yeah.
Where they find a face on it.
Yeah. What I was thinking is like, you know, and this is maybe just like, you know, pop science fiction, pop fiction, you know, leaning on what we know. You know, it's like, oh, there's an alien over there that looks like a pig. You know, I was saying like you know, yeah, that could happen. But what if it was like one of our modern day pigs we have
Would
now?
we eat that group of aliens?
I would, and I'd make bacon out of it, and it'd be awesome.
Sexually?
But
Probably.
see, in my idea, like, so it's like so far in the future, like you're talking about billions of years that after right now, you know, so every animal that was on Earth has turned into its own alien everywhere else, and we are now fifth dimensional beings. We're just kind of all over the place.
What they're actually saying is that aliens are time travel. They're us in the future trying to.
Now that's some freaking.
So what they're saying
So-
is because
Again,
the way,
that's what Ad Astra was.
Yeah,
So
so
that also is what Interstellar was.
so what they're saying is
Ad
that,
Astra is basically just a sci-fi apocalypse now.
So
what
they
they're
go
saying-
out there,
what they're
find
saying
there's
is that
nobody.
Aliens are us from the future, right?
Yeah.
So there's something catastrophic that happens. Well, they can't come and alternate the timeline, right? Because then you fuck up just like Back to the Future. You fuck everything up.
Yeah.
So they have to slowly maneuver everybody to make this one change that fucked up the planet right now, like in millions of years in the future. So that could.
So is
redirect-
COVID
Have you seen
19?
12 Monkeys?
12 Monkeys. Bruce
Watch
Willis.
that movie.
Yeah,
My dad is Bruce Willis.
yeah.
Because I love the whole plot of like him going back in time to prevent the and no
Yeah.
spoilers, but watch it. Great time travel.
You haven't
movie.
seen it, you're an asshole.
Yep.
Go ahead.
You hate
Look how
you know,
classy he is. Sorry, I was pointing at Waylon.
He's a 12 monkey.
No, it's a good one, man. That's a good one. Wasn't it a virus too? On that? Yeah. I
And he
remember
has
that.
to kill the kid, right? And Brad Pitt.
He thinks
Not
Brad Pitt's Brad Pitt
Tom
is
Hanks.
the main suspect of who unleashes the virus.
Yeah.
And he gets sent back to prevent him from releasing the virus. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I remember.
And everyone thinks he's crazy because he looks homeless and because he arrives pretty much like naked, pretty much.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he's like homeless.
Because that's
looking.
how you have to time
And
travel.
he's
Apparently.
and he's like
Your clothes are gonna burn off, buddy.
and he's like running around like, I'm from the future and I gotta save the world. And everyone's like, yeah, all right, homeless guy, calm the fuck down. And they put him in an institution. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, 12 Monkeys. I watched that when I was like fucking 10 years
96,
old.
I think.
I was like 10 or 11.
It's pre- it's
that
pre-
movie
it's
fucked my
pre-Fight
head. I was like,
Club.
what is going on? There's so much twist.
Oh, dude, the final twist in that film is one of the best film twists of all time.
Good movie. What do you remember the show? They made the show 12 Monkeys.
Yeah, apparently it
I
sucked.
was
Yeah.
so upset. I was like, oh.
Well, anytime you make a show on a movie, especially if it's an older movie, it usually sucks.
Yeah, we
With
could make
the
something
subtraction of Lethal Weapon until they fired that guy.
Oh, that guy,
Yeah, the guy who played Riggs.
Mel Gibson.
good. Killed him
I mean,
off.
not in the series.
Yeah, Mel Gibson.
No, it was not Mel Gibson.
Called him Riggs.
That guy was so good, though, man. Like I'm a
Yeah,
joke. We've
Mel
talked
Gibson's
about
a great
this
actor.
before. It wasn't Mel
He's in
Gibson.
5 Lethal Weapon movies.
Oh my goodness! I'm talking
they
about
make
the
5?
series.
I know they
made
made
4.
Wait, oh yeah, you're right. It's
Technically, there's 7, but 3 of them were on Sunny in Philadelphia.
Oh yeah.
I was fucking believing you for a second. I was like, man, it was. Dude, I know
No,
everything.
real.
There's a lot
There's
about
7.
movies.
There's 7, bro.
Well, maybe they said
Charlie Days and
straight to
3 of
video
them.
The
ones.
only thing I like more than It's Sunny in Philadelphia is the memes of It's Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yeah. Anyways, start blasting.
Yeah, amazing.
I haven't watched any videos like
Man, you guys are
doing.
doing. I just want to say you guys are doing a good job saying on this apocalypse stuff. Even that's apocalyptic. So, we're gonna move on to the next one, which is.
I feel really patronized right
No,
now.
I'm saying you've been great.
Podcast is
Dad.
going
If
so
they've
well.
been great, type a F in the chat. And in the
Like F for
comments,
failure.
F for fan freaking tastic.
Every time he does a bad transition, do that.
Yeah.
Hey, I
Press
just want to
F for
say I have
respect.
not said in a long time.
Yeah, still
so-
bad transitions though.
Let's go to the next one. It's the one Waylon tried to
You
talk
just
about
traced,
earlier.
you just say instead of saying you're saying
I didn't say that.
You said so.
We're-
Let's go to the next one.
We're going to.
He's technically correct.
Fine, I'll never say or again after now. We are going to
We're
the
gonna
next
take a
topic
shot every time
that
he says it.
is AI. Waylon tried to say it earlier. Waylon, what are your thoughts on AI? Would you put
I
your
thought it was kind of
consciousness
an overrated
into
movie.
a robot?
I really
Go.
like that movie.
My conscience?
Yeah.
No,
No? Why not?
I don't care to have it in a robot.
Well, come on, talk.
How big is
You've
the
been-
robot
you've been-
penis?
Look, I'll show you how quiet you've been.
Does it
You've
have
been
a
good. You've
turbo
been
boost?
listening.
I'm not gonna to inject myself into a conversation that's happening, PJ.
I know. That's why I'm giving you a chance to talk. Talk about AI. Let's go.
Look how solid that line is.
AI thinks the thing's gonna happen before the zombies thing.
Well,
Okay.
AI is, of course, that is. AI is going to cause the zombies.
Or save us,
Mind blown.
or save us from the zombies.
I think it's causing it.
For your own safety, you must stay inside
Listen,
because
'cause
of zombies.
AI
You remember that shit Keanu Reeves movie we saw where like he
The Matrix. Oh shit! Yeah.
How dare you?
I'm joking.
That's a story of transvestites.
I'm training.
Let's not talk about that.
Even Fog Bro still good. Hey,
Let's
I'll
not
become a
talk
trainee
about
then.
that.
'cause
I would
such a
say
good
if that's
movie.
that's the best trans film I've ever seen,
If I have to take,
other than
coming out.
Transformers 2, Revenge of the Fallen.
I'll take the pill to get a penis. I mean,
Yeah.
transition. No, hey, that's hilarious. And I'm rewatching them this weekend though, just so I can see what they're talking about.
What? But like, what's the stages of them? So like, the first one's him coming out and finding out himself, and then the second one, like he's kind of like getting the hormones. You
can't take
And the
this
third
out.
one's like the full transition.
I don't know, but I really watch it just
Because that's the revolution.
We're
right?
really curious about this, PJ.
I don't know.
I mean, I just want to know more.
We're gonna cancel us. We're gonna cancel our 30 viewers.
Listen, this is where I like the most about stuff like that.
No, but like for real, like if you're gonna make that
Let's
kind
get
of
the
claim
sisters on
that
and
it's a
talk
trans
about it.
film,
Yeah, you
I wanna
can't
know
throw
what's
it out
trans
there
about
and
it.
expect none of us to ask questions.
Let's get the sisters on.
Listen,
see if they
this is
want
what
to
I'm
be on the
talking about.
podcast.
It's the fact that I like people that make movies, and especially
J.J.
hidden-
Abrams is
Hey,
banned from this podcast. He's not allowed on.
Yes, and
and all Bad Robot Productions.
yeah, forget those guys.
Got him, buddy.
Gahim!
So, like, okay, I'm gonna open this to everybody because that's how we're doing this. But how likely is that AI to take over?
99% likely.
You think out of all the things we talked about, aliens, Yellowstone,
PJ,
asteroids,
PJ,
zombies.
PJ.
Do you think that AI is the most likely?
Every powerful group in the world right
Yes.
now
It's
is
possible.
trying to make that a thing.
Okay, so
Elon Musk himself, who's terrified of AI, like that's his biggest fear, is
Let
like,
me show
fuck it,
y'all
I'm gonna do it
exactly
myself.
why I think aliens are time travelers. They're trying to come back in time to stop the AI program that we are going to create that creates the zombies that they turn us into because they know that if they just kill us,
So-
if they let us kill us off with nukes, the whole plan so the AI destroys itself. AI is
And
so
you'll-
smart
So
that
the
it's turning
AI
into
creates the zombies,
Dude, you did-
and
you-
too many zombies will
Bro,
get to the middle of the continent and make Yellowstone
you're so
blow
close. That's the only one you
up.
missed. It's the only one you
So-
missed.
so-
Because that was
Speaking of-
unplausible, bro.
And Nick
How they
Cage
make-
will go,
how they gonna make Yellowstone go?
Out of all of these things, Yellowstone's the most unplausible.
Zombies making Yellowstone
I'll
go
tell
on.
you
I'm telling you, that zombies will make Yellowstone happen.
No.
Y'all
Not
see
nanomachines.
Walking Dead. All of them appear. Alpha's going to lead them all out there to that one big hole, and suddenly Yellowstone will blow up, and Nick Cage will be upset.
No. I just
Shit. Okay, let's get
I had a
back,
good theory. You just blew it with that.
let's get back on topic.
No,
At the end of this month, by the way,
Yeah.
Skynet becomes self-aware
Oh, don't
and
say that.
takes over. Just
Don't say
saying,
that.
that's in the plot. It's
s-
this year, this month.
Like, are you
because for the-
serious?
Yeah,
For the past couple of years, I've been
August
wondering.
27th, I believe.
Since I found out that aliens might be time travelers, I've been wondering what the fuck are they trying to do? Divert. I've been thinking of this
Well,
for
like-
at least 15 years.
Hey,
15
hey,
years.
let me talk, let me talk,
My
let me
better
talk, let me talk.
question is like, if they're so advanced, why do they crash all the time?
Would that mean you're still going to crash?
Are they
That's what
are
I'm
they
saying. Why
are
am I
they
driving
drunk? Are they
and I'm
drunk?
gonna
Are they
just-
drunk flying?
Yeah, but how many
They're
times
still
have
going to
I?
sleep. Somebody can fall asleep driving. Happens all the time.
Just saying. Just saying.
Maybe
Continue with your theory,
you don't have
please.
autopilot?
David, go with your
50
theory.
I want to hear this whole. I
Wait.
want to hear this whole
So
theory.
we
Go.
are time travelers, right? Obviously, we're using technology, but once we release the AI program that fucked us over, whoever, how many years later, million, maybe 2 million, whatever program that we're creating, they're trying to diverge it with all this crazy shit, right? Okay, let's get these people are arguing over stupid shit. Doesn't make sense of why we started arguing over stupid shit. So aliens come over here.
I mean, humans
bam.
have argued over stupid shit since the beginning of time.
No, not over a fucking mask and over goddamn with technology, with knowledge at your hands. How are you still gonna argue over the same shit though? That
It's
doesn't
like the
make sense.
concept of the Black Plague, though.
So
Well,
watch-
I mean,
they don't have
Catholics
the
and
answers,
Protestants kill each other and they worship
but
the
you
same
have
God.
the answers in your hand. That's the difference.
Let him finish. Let him finish.
Unintelligent people do, but we all have the same amount of knowledge as the motherfucking scientists now in the palm of our hand. Just depends on how you read the information, right? How are we still gonna argue over the same stupid shit? Doesn't make sense to me. So now I'm like, well, maybe that's why time travelers come. Bam, they implement their social media. Let's fucking get everybody to fuck this thing up. So this way they can't make the AI program because they're fighting.
So
over
they're trying
masks.
to destroy us before we ever get
No,
to
they're
AI?
trying to make us not create the program.
They're trying
If
to
they have
prevent
us
us from advancing so we destroy
yes, So
ourselves.
we cannot destroy. So yes, the AI won't take over and make us
So,
have to time travel to
speaking
save
of
us.
time travel theories, can I pull out the tinfoil
Scientific
hat
fact?
and give you my theory on
Okay.
like my big theory?
We are getting. Hang on. Bam! I put time travel.
Baby,
up there.
good.
So y'all remember like the Maya 2012 like whole conspiracy, like the world's gonna end
Yeah.
because they ran out of calendar
The
space.
start of the Mandela effect.
Because they were like, oh, 20,000 years in the future. Yeah, that's kind of, or I don't know, a couple, what is it,
Well,
1,000 years in the future when they made that, or past when they
Well, it
made
depends
that?
on how you read. They don't even know how to read the Mayan calendar still.
Well, my thing
That's what I
is
don't
like,
understand.
like they were probably like, okay, this is like 200 years in the future. I guess we can, fuck off on this whole, calendar thing. But anyways, so around the time that 2012 was supposed to end the world, over in Europe, they were doing the thing called CERN, where they
yeah.
did their first experiment where they split an atom. Well, that happened when they did that around the same week that the world was supposed to end. My theory is, and this is going to bring in the Mandela effect and simulation theory. So around this time, all of a sudden, after the CERN thing happens, everybody starts briefly, just subtle changes.
Yeah.
People start picking up on the Mandela effect. Mandela effect, if you don't know, is basically like a shared memory that's different than other people's memory.
Mandela. Yeah.
Like instead of the Berenstain Bears, it's the Berenstain Bears, and like Curious George never had a tail kind of shit. And what my theory is what happened is when they split that atom, our reality merged with a very similar reality, like the multiverse theory, and we merged together, and therefore like it's so similar that only certain people remember this one, like because it's like your memory, like the stronger version remembers a certain way. Yeah, it's fucking crazy. Which hold on.
Yeah.
Which brings to
Yeah.
my point to the fact that this is a simulation.
which is
I'm
why
a little drunk, so I'm having a hard time explaining this.
No,
so
no,
quick,
I got you.
You're totally table slamming like
Which
we
is
told
why
you earlier.
those
Yeah.
particles that are coming out from Antarctica, the time going backwards. That's why it's Mandela's effect, because time's going backwards at the
Well,
same
that's my
time.
point.
The
It's like
multiverse
so
is mixing.
basically, all of this coincidentally happens around the same time in 2012 when we split an atom. I
Yeah.
think that's fucking weird.
No, I give you. I will admit there's a couple things in my life that I've talked about that people don't remember that I'm like, okay, that's kind of weird. But and I've
Like
seen
Dr. Hook or whatever it's called.
Dr. Hook is a real thing. Okay,
What?
Dr. Hook.
So his family loves this artist named Dr. Hook, and he'll start singing songs and stuff
R.I.P.
for them. And I seriously cannot even think about who the
I
artist
mean,
is.
That doesn't mean it's not
No,
real.
but it's
because
weird.
obscure.
It was just strange because you think
He's
like, oh, he's
huge.
an older artist. He was
He's huge.
popular. I can't even pull him up in
Yeah.
my head. Like he'll
Goes like
sing his
this.
most popular songs, and I can't even. It
You even
won't.
Googled it?
goes.
No, because I like to keep it in this like realm
like
of
this.
I've never heard of this person.
I'm going to be really into it if you like. I Googled it and he doesn't exist. I'm like, whoa. I was like, I want to check this out.
I think he's the Yesterday guy. He's supposed to write those songs because he's Dr. Hook.
Stones, gonna buy 5 copies for my mother.
You're doing it, Peter. You're doing it.
Doing it. And she was too young to fall in love, and I was too young to know. He's so good. Yeah,
Is that
it's
it?
a good song.
Is this serious?
We go.
You know this guy's songs?
Yeah. A show. How do you not know
the
this?
When did this come
Did y'all ever heard
The-
that?
the 80s,
I've
bro.
never heard
Well,
that.
that doesn't mean it. I mean, just because it's obscure and his family knows it doesn't mean it doesn't.
It's
exist.
like
It's not obscure.
It's like
So
what the
many people
Beatles
know
are to
it.
my family.
Well,
is to his.
maybe. Well, okay, so
Must be a
like,
Clifton thing.
yeah.
No, that's a
Clifton- the
national.
Clifton-
national
We go down there, their next big like hoopla, and they're all down there like dancing to it.
Yeah.
Do
Our local meth dealer,
My AP
Dr.
breaky
Hook.
heart.
Hey, they're not country.
Does like a duck dance to it?
80s, right? 60s,
70s,
70s. Okay, they're not country. They're like I mean, it's like pop. Like I don't
Is
know.
that Weird Al Yankovic, I guess?
Okay, so another conspiracy theory.
Okay.
I am so sorry, Dr. Hook. rest in
Everyone,
peace.
everyone loves ABBA, and if they say they don't, they're lying.
ABBA as an ACDC.
What?
No, that's ADC. Oh, wait, my bad.
Dumbass.
ABBA.
From the...
She was a dancing
You know,
queen.
Skater Boy.
Dancing Queen.
Everyone loves that band. You're a liar if you don't.
and they won the Eurovision.
Sweden.
That's what made them better. I love that movie. I have to watch it for 4 more times.
Dude, you know what? You
They
know
Little
what
elves.
They
Little
believe in
elves.
the elves.
Freaked
That's the
me
real
out.
thing.
that Olivia Newton-John? You know who that is?
No.
Grease.
Yeah, Greece, right? She like has
Kansas
That's a
3
country?
times beat it. She did.
she has this one song that I never knew was her this whole time. It goes, "Let's get physical."
Oh, yeah.
You didn't know that?
physical."
That's
I didn't
like
know
her
it was
biggest
Olivia-
hit.
I didn't know that was Olivia Newton-John. I didn't know it was Grease Girl.
As an
That's
overnight
crazy.
stalker at Kroger when I was 19, they play that song every 20 minutes.
Physical. That's Sandy. That's crazy. That blows my mind.
The song that I used to hear all the time when I was working was the Toto's Africa, which all of a sudden out of nowhere last year blew
Yeah,
up.
what the fuck happened
Like,
with that?
why did that become a huge thing all of a sudden 30
Dude,
years later?
You know,
Oh, it's because
why?
Weezer did a cover of it, and so it hit the mainstream again.
No. It became big because
like a meme.
It was
like,
already big.
I can't say
it
this.
hit again though.
I can't say this seriously.
I
I was
feel
gonna say
it's gonna be
Pitbull
racist.
did that version in that Fast and Furious movie.
Did he really?
He did, and it was so bad.
I don't remember that.
It was so bad. Yeah, in the most recent Fast and Furious movie, Pitbull did
Fast and Furious
Africa.
The one where he fights John Cena? Where has that come out yet?
It wasn't because of that. It's because of Weezer.
I was obviously joking.
I just
but-
love the plot. Like the plot of the Fast and Furious movies gets more and more like amazingly Michael Bay.
Yeah.
So like the first one's like a pretty straightforward like rip off of Point Break. Like he hijacks DVD players and like he street races. All right.
Yeah.
And then like now and Vin Diesel, whose dad was just like a guy that worked on cars at like NASCAR. But suddenly his mom is like British SAS, and like his brother is like a super soldier named John Cena who he can't see, and like what? Like wait,
Dude, I don't know. I fell off of Too Fat, Too Fur.
See, I came back because Michelle Rodriguez.
It's one of the.
came back.
It's one of the. Okay, like you can say what you want about the films, but this is like I hate even being this.
I'm
kind
gonna
of
pitch one in a second.
I'm saying I hate being as SJW as this gonna sound. This is
Southern
gonna
Jehovah's
sound.
Witness.
But I really have appreciated the amount of like brownness, like Colombia, Brazil, that like these movies do very well in South America, right? They do very well. It's just one of those
They got
things.
badass scenes,
Yeah, it's just one of those things where like I just appreciated that they done well in that kind of. I know I'm
You don't understand 'cause
far
you
from. I'm far from being like.
How dare you assume my race?
It's almost like whenever y'all see the Klan, y'all get excited.
No, I'm just saying. Like I know when you really boil it down, who I am. I'm very far from being actual Mexican. It's just cool to kind of see like that kind of thing. Yeah.
So in regards to that, if you're referring to the amazing movie, no, I just lost my train of thought.
There's a reason why I'm so drawn to like.
Damn it! I just
I'm saying
drinking
there's
so
a
much
reason
when
why
we do
I'm so
these.
drawn to like to.
Highlander, that's what it's
Desperado, and Once Upon a Time in Mexico.
Oh, those are awesome. Well, Once Upon a Time in Mexico sucked, but
I liked
but
it.
like El Mariachi is one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, but there's a reason.
From
Like I'm
Dusk
just
Till
saying,
Dawn.
like it's
Well, that's not. I have no problem with what you said. I just I just think they're shit movies, but I still watch them.
Just Fast and Furious is one of those things where you're like I get that
It's a guilty pleasure.
I get that they're not anything that's going to
Well,
be
they're,
like, hey,
they're not trying to be either.
Yeah.
That's why I don't think anyone hates them, because it's like, we're just making a big dumb action movie.
Yeah.
Enjoy it. Like that one we saw, the spin-off with the Rock and Jason
Hobbs and
Statham.
Shaw.
Awesome.
Which
Yeah.
I heard, not seeing it, but in the plot line, like the age of the brother and sister, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense.
No.
With the movie.
Right.
Nope.
I still remember to this
How old
day
is Statham supposed
being
to
at
be?
Ranger Stadium. This is like 2002 or 3. Meeting Vin Diesel. I remember it being there because I can't remember what his name is. He's one of the South American guys at the Rangers. He's in the Hall of Fame now, I think. But anyways, he
Pudge
was there-
Rodriguez?
No, he was there like as his induction to the Ranger Hall of Fame or something like that. And he did this big speech at the home plate, and he just happened to be somewhere walking through where me and my dad were, and I got to meet him and stuff like that. It was just cool. That's like right after Fast and Furious, and I
That
was
was
like,
right when he got big.
and
Yeah.
I was like, wow, this guy. I've seen this guy, Triple X. It blew my mind.
Boiler Room.
Yeah.
Dude, Boiler Room is an underrated movie.
I still want to get it.
And I still remember the day that I went and watched Saving Private Ryan again. I was like, oh crap, that's Vin Diesel. I just got saw it. It was crazy.
Do you realize how long it took me 2 years to realize that wasn't Ben Affleck in that movie? That was that Burns guy. Looks
Oh, Matt Damon?
Looks just like Ben Affleck though.
Who? Which one?
Burns, the guy that the asshole guy in Saving Private Ryan. For 2 years I thought he looked just like Ben Affleck. I was like, dude, I swear that's Ben Affleck. But it's like it's something Burns.
I've talked about this too, but the sniper guy in that movie, I can't remember, I don't know what his name is.
He's
but-
in all the war movies.
Yeah, but that guy.
Barry Pepper?
Yes, that's it. I'm so glad you remember that. I think you've seen this.
He's in
Yeah.
one of my favorite shit movies, too.
He was in a movie recently. He was in one with The Rock a couple of years ago that I thought he was good in that too. But everything I've seen him in has been cool. But
I'm going to ruin that for
okay,
you.
that's fine. But the most recent movie I've seen him
crocodile
in.
one?
What's up?
The alligator one?
I loved
Awesome.
it.
Crawl?
I loved
It
it.
was great.
I literally went in thinking, okay, this is like an asylum film. That's what I thought. Okay, but whatever,
no, it
I'll
was
watch
awesome.
it. Yeah, but that's what I went in with, right?
Yeah.
But I watched that, and dude, my mind was like, okay, that's another good example of a movie where there's an actual female lead that you're like, okay,
it's awesome.
This
She was
is
great.
good. This is great.
That's the one with the alligator, right?
Yeah,
Hurricane-
the crocodiles. Yeah. Dude, I don't even want to talk about
I
it
didn't get to
past like
finish it.
what
I
happened.
really wanted
It's
to.
I'll give the
so
premise
good.
and go watch it. Basically, like there's a hurricane gonna hit like this Florida town. College swimmer can't get a hold of her dad, and he's kind of like a recluse.
Barry Pepper.
So she goes to go check up on him, try to get him, make sure he gets out of the city before the hurricane hits. And she finds him basically pinned underneath a broken pipe in his basement because he was trying to board up some stuff. And he's trapped down there with a crocodile. And the
man.
hurricane pretty much hits before she can get him out, and the crocodiles start basically like flooding
Dude,
in.
It is the
It's awesome. It's
honestly
the best crocodile
it was
movie
it was
ever.
2019, right?
Yeah.
For that year, I'm gonna say it was probably the best like thriller kind of
Best
monster
horror
movie of the year. It was so good. And that guy, I mean, I've always loved his acting. Okay, now he might have been in a crazy movie you're talking about, but
Oh yeah.
but like,
And we're gonna watch it.
He's just been great. Like he was great in Saving Private Ryan. He was good as a DEA agent with The Rock where his son was like going to jail or something like that. And he's great in this one too. When you see him, he is like.
He was a
bit
great
him. He
villain
was
in
like,
True Grit.
"Go home, man. Go home, daughter." It was so good. It was so good.
Yeah,
Barry
he's
Pepper.
an incredible actor.
I like that scene in Saving Private Ryan right before he gets blown, where he's like sitting there and he's saying his prayers while he's sniping, which is always the coolest part of the movie when he's saying his prayers.
Yeah.
While he's sniping people. Like,
Yeah,
"Crap, that's
Catholic
cool."
prayers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then so you turn and see that tank. He's like, Rambo. I was like, nah.
I just watched a YouTube video of this like a special forces sniper, like rating sniper scenes, and he gave that one from Saving Private Ryan where Vin Diesel's like bleeding out, and he like, shoots him a 10 out of 10. Like it's crazy.
Yeah.
Like
It's an incredible movie.
yeah,
Before I ruin Barry Pepper for
that's
you,
fine.
let me
Come
drop
on,
my.
I love Nick Cage, and look how many bad movies he's been in.
Yeah, but I mean, I just want to ruin his perfect record. But I want to see, and I legitimately want to see this. I'm banging on the table. Fast and Furious do a crossover with those shit Transformer movies.
Oh man!
And so, like, Vin Diesel is driving Optimus Prime to go fight, like, I don't know, pick a random
So
celebrity
tired.
shit. Like, let's get the. Oh, we already have The Rock in those movies. Who's a random. Arnold Schwarzenegger's the villain, and he's driving Megatron, and they have a big climax with the horrible one-liners. It'd be amazing. I'd watch that.
But it'll be Arnold Schwarzenegger from True Lies. Remember, like so he's he's a secret agent, but now he works with
Yeah,
fucking
the movie ends, and then all of a sudden it doesn't end because he has to hijack a jet and go kill a terrorist.
Yep.
I love that movie.
And that's what
By the
turns
way,
him.
you know-
it was fucking Megatron the whole time. With the,
You want to name?
Starscream, yeah.
I don't know what your opinion of her is, but that's the one movie in my head of like growing up that Jamie Lee Curtis was like, damn,
Oh, she was-
Jamie Lee Curtis.
That and Trading Spaces, she was super. Or Trading Places, sorry. That's
Yeah.
Trading Spaces is a TLC show.
I remember watching that like as a little kid, and my parents were like, "Close your eyes, PJ," during that stripping scene. And I was just like, "Oh no, Jamie Lee Curtis!"
She's a good-looking woman. Barry Pepper though was in the Scientologist film Battlefield Earth, starring.
Yes. Oh yeah, my
Yeah.
boy.
Yeah, your
freaking
boy,
Danny.
Oh man,
Very good.
oh, it's so good.
What's his real name? What was his real name?
I can't think of his name now.
Travolta?
John
Yeah, John
Travolta, bro.
Travolta.
Wife just died.
Wrote and directed
R.I.P.
Battlefield Earth based on
Wait,
actual.
are you serious?
Yeah.
I thought he just starred in it.
No, because he's a Scientologist. He wrote and directed it based on actual Scientologist teaching.
Are you serious?
Yes.
I thought it was just
Battlefield
like,
Earth was a book.
I thought it was just a goofy
By
science thing.
Gary Hubbard.
Yeah,
Ray-
L.
Ray
Ron Hubbard.
But
It's
that's
based
how-
on Scientology.
Oh, you're saying this? You're saying the book's based on Scientology stuff?
No, the book is written by the guy. No, the book is part of the religion. All
That's right.
all of the science fiction books
So
are part of the religion.
What
I thought you were saying that the actor
No, what he's saying is
wrote
he
the
probably
movie
wrote-
in the book.
Like,
I'm
he
like,
wrote the
like-
screen. He
Yeah.
wrote the screenplay. Basically, he
Yeah.
adapted from the book.
Yeah.
Basically, it'd be like you and me starting a religion based on Tolkien's work. You know, like Lord of the Rings, the religion.
A drink.
isn't that already a thing? Like Star
Probably.
Wars,
Here
you go,
Jedi
Dylan.
religion?
Probably. I'm out of drink. Whatever.
There's a whole bottle here.
But anyways, so
Hey, Jennifer, could you be
Don't you say it?
hey? Could you get Dylan a beer, please?
I'll get my own beer. Don't worry about me, Jennifer.
Wow.
You
How
already worked
dare
tonight.
you assume her?
Gender?
No,
How dare you put
Work
her in
status?
her gender place?
would it be work status?
I'll bleep out your name,
Ow.
okay? Is it you feel better about it?
He'll replace it with Gary.
Hey,
Hey, Gary.
He goes, "Hey Jennifer." Jennifer. You just changed your voice, buddy.
pause
Hey.
for edit. Anyways, continue. Sorry.
Kelsey, like just some random chick's name. The local town barkeep.
Yeah, we're totally still talking about apocalypses. Continue.
Hey, Antoine.
Yeah. But basically, the movie is just like this shit Scientology propaganda movie with like a bunch of A-list actors that like have won Oscars, like Forrest Whitaker and stuff.
Where Scientology was like, hey,
destroying
do
their
this.
careers, like with like horrible like wigs of like dreads. And
oh,
they're like,
I remember, man.
oh man, and like the way they talk is just so like amazingly pretentious. Like Like imagine like Shakespeare in the Park, but like as like a super serious Star Wars level drama kind of like thing.
So here's my question about that. Do you think they went into that film like okay? So
John Travolta 100% believes everything.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm getting to. What I'm saying is like we've seen like Christian films are like they're super about it. They're like, yeah, Christianity. We're gonna do it in a movie. Do you think that same energy was applied to Battlefield Earth?
Yes, and
Dude,
and that's why I hate those kind of
crazy.
films because it's like, because you can like old school Christian films like the Ten Commandments and like stuff like that are actually amazing movies. Ben-Hur is technically a Christian movie, and it's one of the best movies of old Hollywood. Like, because they made it to be a good film, not just crap. Like God's Not Dead. Oh my God, that's a stupid movie.
Remember when he hits the professor gets hit by the car at the end of the movie?
It's hilarious. Like watching those movies drunk. Magic.
Oh, yeah, that one.
But Battlefield
there was
Earth.
one recently that was actually pretty okay.
Well, that's my point. Is like you like so. For example, like there's some stories specifically that would be like extremely entertaining, whether you believe it or not. That and yet instead we get these hokey like, oh, everyone's out to get us. Oh, this evil, corrupt, teacher. Who like Satan, and it's just like, oh, come on.
It's one of those things where like
this is why people make fun of you.
This is one of those things where like, and I think I've had this conversation with William before too. But there's this thing that at least in the churches I've been to, always gets quoted me because we're musicians, and so I've always dealt with the like that we're professional musicians. I'm sorry that we practice and we
I'm
perfect
semi-professional
and that we perfect our craft, and then I've been to some churches in my life where there's people that get up there and it's just like, come on, get up and practice your singing. And I always get this thing quoted to me, oh, it's a joyful noise or whatever. And like, that's one of the things I've always been kind of like, yes, but at the same time, you should try to like work on your stuff. Same thing applies with film. Like to me, the number one thing is the craft. You have to be able to have a vessel that is well made and well crafted, a good story to whatever. The message should be secondary.
Because that's the thing is like, for example, like, but a lot of the reasons why creative movies don't get made is because when they do get made, they're made by someone that doesn't want to compromise their vision, won't listen to any criticism. Hence why Indiana Jones 4 sucked, and they won't compromise on the creativity, which usually means the studio won't back them, which usually means they have to make it an indie movie with a low budget, and we get shit like that. It sucks. And then no one goes to see it, which it reinforces the reason why they make the same old movies. Hence why we have, like, how many Transformers specifically, actually, bring it up again. Like, we're on, like, 8 now, right?
Did we get to 7?
I think we did. So we had
we got the one that felt like it was written by a 12-year-old. Remember that one?
I think number 5.
Okay, so we had 1, 2.
Bumblebee's 5.
Is it 5?
Yeah,
okay,
5.
so I'm like 4 ahead. My bad.
Right?
I don't know. Yeah. Who cares?
Because Mark Wahlberg is 4.
Because he had 2. He had one where he wrote Optimus Prime rides a robot T-Rex.
Well, there's number 3, number 4 that's Mark Wahlberg.
There's like
because number 1 and 2 is Shia.
Or how about
1, 2, and 3 are Shia.
Yeah, 1, 2, and 3 are Shia, and 4 and 5 are Wahlberg.
4 and 5 are
And then we
Wahlberg.
had the
Then
reboot.
6 is
Bumblebee.
And the reboot was actually
It was
awesome.
very good. Yeah.
That girl was
so
great.
I don't think it's really a reboot. It's just a continual.
It's a prequel.
So here's the last thing I'll say about the whole Christian film thing. Again, and we're on the same page about why those are bad. There's one recently that was actually pretty good, and again, it was because they put story first and then let everything else fall into place. It was the one about that band Mercy Me or whatever. I'm sorry, but Dennis Quaid was in it. He was great. I
like Dennis Quaid.
And it was. I thought it was a great film.
I hate
like
that band though.
Yeah, that's fine. But the actual movie itself and the way they wrote the story was excellent. And I was like, wow. I remember sitting it because my dad was like, hey, I want to watch this movie. And in my head, I did the same thing that you do, and everybody else was like, okay, this is gonna be bad. But I'll watch it because I'm respectful and it's my dad wants to do it. And I watched it. I was like, wow, this is actually really good. It was a very well written story, and that's the thing. If your story is done, if your craft is perfected, your potential to reach the people you want to reach is just better.
There's actually another one that's kind of unknown called End of the Spear, which was based on a true story. It came out like in 2005 or something. And it's like a true story about like this group of like missionaries that went to like some South American tribe to like try to convert them or whatever. Yeah. And it goes horribly wrong, and some of them get murdered. And then eventually, like somehow by some weird miracle, I guess you could say, they ended up somehow making a breakthrough, if you will, and they actually became a huge part of the tribe's lives, and like now like they're the children of the people that were murdered actually are technically part of the tribe as well. Like they're like really close now. And at one point, like I think one of the elders comes to America to like come live with like the main missionary family for a couple months, and like they go to the grocery store and like he's amazed, like he's like all these like places like filled with food, and but like they get through the checkout line, like they give him all the food back, and like they go to pay, they hand him the credit card, and then they, you get the credit card back, and like the guy's like, oh my God, this is the greatest thing ever. You get all this food, and all you have to do is give him a plastic card, and they give it back to you. And it just blew this little dude's mind. It was amazing. It was so funny. Dude, but it's actually a pretty decent movie.
Dude, that reminds me, I hate to be a podcast that talks about other podcasts, but did you watch the David Coe podcast with Joe Rogan?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. They talk about this guy who, like, it's better than I. You want to explain it? About the part where he's talking about the supermarkets and stuff like that? Well, basically, like, they could not understand the concept.
Oh, yeah, they're not hunting the food.
Yeah, and they were like, what?
You go to a place and they give you food and you don't hunt it?
Yeah, they could not grasp the concept. They're like, what is he? Because he was, like, out and out of shape artist, And they're like, what have you never hunted for food? And the translator was like, no. He's trying to explain what a supermarket is. And they're like, what? What? We're about to go hunt this baboon, which is itself crazy.
Right?
That blows my mind.
Eating a monkey.
Intelligent primate. That's insane. Like they talked about. Remember when they talked about they were in the cave?
Pigs are smart.
Yeah, and they're eating the brain.
Well, no, they were in this cave about to hunt the next day, and this David Coe guy, the artist, he said he walked out of the cave and he could look over at dusk. He could see. He could look over across the ravine to the other cave, and the baboons were pointing them out, going, "Oh crap! There's hunters there. What are we gonna?" Like they're not saying that.
Yeah,
obviously.
the night before, you see the bamboos going around pointing at them.
Yeah, and then that blows my mind that they're gonna turn around. No, I get it.
Pigs.
No, I get
pigs are
it.
smart.
I get
Smartest
it.
dog.
And maybe because I don't
And in
see
China,
it as much.
so I'm about to rip on that country, but they actually have an annual like thing where they eat. So they eat dogs over there. They do. That's not being a racist
They eat
thing.
horses too?
Yeah. Well, I mean, they eat whatever they can find because they're in a communist country where they don't have food. But they actually have like a festival where they eat dog meat, which is bad enough in my opinion. But before they do it, before they actually eat the dogs, they literally torture them for hours. Like, I mean, they beat them and they skin them and they eat them, like cook them alive and stuff.
I like where this is going.
Yeah,
Continue.
yeah, get some good old dog tacos.
Those cherries are horrible.
Well, they're soaked in whiskey.
You've literally been throwing different things in there the entire night.
Dogs continue.
No, I don't want to now.
He just ate a dog ball.
No, eat your cherries. All right,
just-
camera focus on
Let's
PJ
just,
now.
Let's look at PJ. Look at PJ cry because he, can't handle the taste of whiskey.
It's moonshine.
It's not real moonshine.
Yeah.
It's not though.
Where do you get moonshine from?
Do not recommend.
Where you
I
get
could
it?
actually get you some real moonshine. I mean, not do that.
Not
But that's illegal?
moonshine. Yeah.
Is it?
It's
Real moonshine.
It's highly
Alcohol
illegal.
stores.
It's only illegal because they make it like in their
No, anything
bathtubs.
that you see that you can buy that's called moonshine is not real moonshine.
I don't know. Anything that you can't
It's kind of like
tax is
absinthe, and in
illegal.
America you can't get the real shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The wormwood, buddy. I want some with wormwood so we could trip.
But nah, dude, the closest thing to real, I think, moonshine would probably be like freaking Everclear, man. It's like pure alcohol.
Right.
Blech.
Hey, I'm just saying this is a little off topic for podcast stuff. We're 100% going camping like when it gets cool.
On
Right.
mushrooms?
You know, PJ, that makes me want to punch you in the face because
Why?
I've been trying to get us to go camping for
Yeah,
2
but
years.
it's
and you're
hot
always
as
the one-
crap.
Yeah, except I did it in October last year. Is what I tried to get you to
Yeah,
do.
I wasn't here
And
though.
you were like,
I was all the way down in the art district of
"There's no
Central Texas.
Wi-Fi out there."
If I am involved in this, there will be mushrooms.
I don't want that. I want
Then
the
I
other
would not
thing you
be
talked
camping with
about.
you.
gourmet mushrooms.
No, I want the
Good
other
day,
thing you
sir.
talked about.
As long as we
Yeah,
get
I guess Massachusetts.
only if we get to pick these mushrooms with Sasquatch.
Time out. Pause for edit.
Oh. Take a guitar out there.
We actually edit these before we
I
actually
do.
put these out.
Yeah, we
Listen,
put them
this is
out.
what we should do. We should go.
We have
Not the
we
last
have,
like 4 or 5.
we have double-digit viewers.
We should go camping, record a new pies out there, and each of us eat a little cap of a shroom. You won't trip too hard. I'll eat the rest. And we should see where this podcast goes.
Okay,
See
well-
and I will give you a little hint of the
And
door.
then you find out y'all are really just talking to like sticks on the ground. Like,
I will put it this way.
Didn't you get that recording? I swear.
I vote yes.
I'm never camping 100%.
With mushrooms. Yes. Or acid, it's up to you.
Camping
I prefer
100%.
mushrooms.
Yeah, I love camping.
100%.
I love the outdoors.
Yeah, like I'm talking.
I love
like,
hunting you guys through the
like
woods.
in September or November when it's a little cooler.
Have you ever been hunting?
I like frolicking in the woods.
No.
Dylan, have you seen the pirate sword on the table? And he wants to ask if we've been hunting. Come on, look at that sword.
You're doing it, Peter. Look at that from Hook. Rufio.
I'm joking. I'm
He dies.
joking. It's a joke.
Yeah, this is
It's a joke.
mushrooms.
Quit looking at me like that. Okay, we're about to get on topic, and I feel like we should either wrap this up or talk about the next thing. I want to talk about the next thing. Are you good to go? Are you good to go? You good to go?
Yes.
I have no clue what this means. You told me you would tell me later, and now it's later. Later is now.
Now later.
So, what in the world is
Carmen San Diego. Jesus.
Oh,
Skinwalker Ranch?
You want to take over on this one?
So it's a ranch.
I got that much.
Skinwalkers stay there. That's an ancient. It's an ancient burial.
It's
Ancient.
basically like
So-
everything that like could like that would be in a novel like Stephen King would write exists on this ranch.
So they think it's in the they rituals about it, talking about portals. It's just the portal, which they believe that's how UFOs or whatever comes through there because there's so much energy. That's what Skinwalker Ranch. That's
You know what that
portal
reminds
to
me of, though?
Like
This
it'll
face
go
he's
to
making?
here to wherever else.
It reminds me of when
Like
The
a wormhole.
Simpsons Bart like heating
where's it
something
at?
up in the microwave and he
Skinwalker
touches it and
Ranch?
he's like, it
Yeah,
burns,
what's
and he
that?
keeps doing it. That's PJ as a person.
Where's Skinwalker Ranch at?
Montana, I think. No, it's Utah. It's Utah.
One of those silly states that I don't know.
Dude, what my cousin was telling me about this place. He wants to go in like Arizona to look for some gold or something. I should talk to him about this first. But apparently, some of this place is like cursed. Some people like go missing there all the time, and they show up like dismembered.
Why
or
have we
whatever.
not figured out the Bermuda Triangle?
I don't know, but like this
You-
is apparently this is a
It's
real.
the same thing as Skinwalker Ranch. It's a portal.
Apparently, this
So-
is apparently this is a
so
real place. And what he was
I'll
telling
put it this way.
hang on, what he was telling me about this is
Wow,
kind of
PJ.
the same thing, right?
He wants
About,
me
like,
to explain it. But won't
well,
let me
just
explain
let me get to this real quick.
Being muted out right now.
Apparently, it was like kind of like the same thing. They thought it was like a portal thing. You think it's
it. Neil deGrasse Tyson.
think it's the same thing?
Yeah, because they're there. There's Bermuda. There's like two other.
Apparently, there's
No
gold
one's gonna
there.
get this far of the podcast, anyways.
Apparently,
Bermuda
there's
is
gold
like-
there.
that's
That's all.
like-
That's his thing. That's what it was. He's like, hey, we should go find some gold. There's this place, but people go missing all the time. Is what he told me. So, anyways, so explain it.
Before that, in national parks all around the U.S. for several like decades,
Yeah.
children have gone missing like in a very suspicious ways. You should look into that.
That is one
Well,
thing.
Like we'll talk about that next podcast.
Epstein.
That is something.
I'm
I did.
No. Like we're talking
Bro,
like supernatural
No, bro,
occurrences.
like talk about it now. I'm really curious.
So what they're doing with the kids with the Epstein thing is that they're using their blood. That's what.
So like bloodletting? No, that's with leeches, right?
It's almost like they're bathing because that's the whole Pizzagate thing.
So
that happened
yeah,
with
like they're
Lynn.
basically like it's a toxin that's released in like children when they're afraid.
Yeah.
That supposedly is like what they're like the reason why they're doing the things to the kids is that it's like a super drug.
Tom, are you talking about like freaking Monsters Inc. that kind of thing?
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's like the people
Which
really.
is actually terrifying because
Because
maybe
all
Monsters
the-
Inc. was actually just telling us what they're actually
because
doing.
all the big studio execs are the ones that do it. Now someone's trying to leak it out. The best way to do it is through a kids movie.
Are you serious?
Yeah, that's a huge conspiracy
That was
So,
the
theory.
what do they? They get them scared and then like slit their throat and like bathe in the
They
blood.
bathe in the blood, yeah. So I think it's some. It's ancient. It's some ancient ritual
Yeah,
that goes
yeah,
way,
that's
way
yeah,
beyond.
that's
like,
I've heard of that before. It's like because like there was like a queen or something, and she would like find
Yeah,
the
she would-
fairest lady in the
virgins-
land and
Well,
like
virgin
every
girls
time,
and
yeah,
stuff.
that's like him with the Bloody Mary or
that's insane.
Dracula.
Here's my real question to that. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
if they're doing that and it's been a thing since like medieval times at least, is it real? Like, is it work?
Oh yeah, it makes sense.
I don't know.
think
Probably
it's-
not.
I think it's real.
Yeah,
I think it's placebo effect.
You
kidnapping
think it's
blood?
real? Why do you think it's
Oh
real?
no, the ritual they're doing is not real. I think them.
No, yeah,
the
okay.
kidnapping and raping kids is
That's
definitely
true,
a real thing.
but the ritual isn't real. Because
Yeah.
if it was real, they wouldn't be as old as they look.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They look-
I don't know
they look
enough.
pretty old. All those people look very old.
I think it has to do. I remember. I think it has to do with they're purifying themselves before they go on to the next whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, so this is like an afterlife kind of thing.
I guess.
yeah,
I
like
think so.
Egyptian stuff. Yeah. But anyways, so
But it's pretty fucked. I mean, it's real.
Save
but
the
a
children.
rundown of stuff that goes on at Skinwalker Ranch, like so it's like a cursed Native American burial
This
ground.
is an actual place, right?
Yes, this is a real.
Where's
thing.
it at?
I'm pretty sure it's Utah. We can.
Okay, yeah, I'm saying we don't know for sure, but
No. Just
they
Google
know.
it. It's
Joe
a real
Rogan went
place.
there.
Like
Rogan went
they, in
there.
fact, they talk about it. It's like a well-known.
yeah,
thing.
just that we have to look
They
it
had,
up.
they
Okay.
had scientists there for 6 months to stay there, right? Actually, last summer, 2019.
Okay.
So they stayed there. They lived there for 6 months.
Have you heard of
Scientists.
this? Go ahead.
So
It's in Utah.
I knew it. So they had scientists, guys.
Gross.
They're trying to figure out what's going on. Some rich guys. So they had scientists there for 9 months, right? The guys recorded everything. They didn't really get anything. He's just saying that he would wake up every night with night terrors, and he's never had any type of night terrors like that ever. So and that's it. That was the only physical thing that he went through his 9 months of being there recording everything. After that, he didn't really get anything big signatures. But he's saying the dreams he had were so fucking vivid, like he didn't know when he was awake or asleep. And he would wake up screaming. He said he never had night terrors like that before.
Okay, so you got crop circles, cattle mutilations, shape-shifting creatures that are impervious to bullets. You got UFO sightings constantly, and we're not just talking recent, like all throughout history. Like Native American tribes,
Yeah.
at their earliest stage, have been terrified of this place.
Yeah.
It's like. It's cursed and like the shamans are like spooked to even go there, and everyone that's owned part of the ranch leaves terrified. Let's see here. So the systematic like mutilation of the cattle with like weird bloodless manner, like there's no blood but like they're torn apart.
Okay. Can you have one thing I'm talking
Yeah,
about?
yeah.
Go ahead. Continue though.
Go for it.
Just no one.
Okay, so here's what I'm going to say. Maybe it's fertile land and they need cows, but I assume if it's been a problem this long and cows been getting butchered, they would stop having cows there.
So that was the last one. The butcher.
Yeah, I don't think it's an actual ranch.
Oh,
So
okay.
in the 70s was the family that they still own
Okay,
it. But
yeah.
they let the scientists come live there last year.
And then
they just
they
lock
had-
it up. Everybody just keeps breaking in.
They haven't found anything
They haven't
conclusive
found
yet.
physical except for the cattle. No, but
Yeah.
the only thing that
Well,
guy.
there's like strange vibrations. Like
Yeah.
there's stuff they just can't explain. It's the reason why they think it's a UFO thing is because the UFOs are showing up because like they're getting weird readings from this area.
Yeah.
and they're trying to figure out what the hell's going on.
You know,
And so they're doing experiments on whatever's there.
So it's a
I
portal.
kind of want to talk about this one thing, and I just kind of want to. It's something I don't even like talking about, really, but it's just like a weird thing with my family. Waylon knows most of this stuff, and let's talk about that too. You know what I'm talking about, right? But I'll let Waylon explain that. But it's been so weird because like I hear stuff like that, and and like 90% of me wants to say it's bullshit, but then I see stuff that's happened like even in my own house, and maybe this is like I don't know some kind of like. I have a couple theories, and one theory is that we just have some Native American in our blood, and the other theory is that on my dad's side of the family, a couple generations in, they were super into voodoo and stuff like that. They were like hardcore into it, right? And so I think that might have something to do with it too. But dude, even at my house, man, like this, I've only until recently I didn't really hear anything, but just the stuff my dad has told me, my mom has told me, my sister who sees stuff all the time has told me. Like there's so much stuff that happens around us, and there could be a whole podcast where we talk about the things that happened. But recently, I'll just say there's just been like shadows walking around, doors being open. Literally a week ago when I was hanging out there, my mom told me she was sleeping in her room, and so let's say like you look at a room here, her bed's here. There's a TV with a thing here, and there's a closet on this end, right? So if you're laying in the bed, and if you like look down the bed, you can see the closet. Okay, she's sleeping in there. My dad's on the road because he's a truck driver, right? And she just hears the door just open up, right? It's one of those weird like pull out doors where it like slides in, It's like in 4 parts, and you pull it out, and one side opens up. And she's gotten to the point now where so many things happen at that house. She's just kind of like we're religious, she'll just pray and say, hey, like go away, whatever. And this time when she did it, because she was gonna get up and check it out, but she's like, whatever. And so she like prayed or whatever, and then the door literally closed. Right. And I talked to my sister about it, and she said that same night she had heard something like the door open up, and she thought my mom had gotten up or something because she's up really late, and then she had heard it again, and then she asked mom about it the next day, and that's when my mom told her that story. Right. And so there's been periodically throughout the years. This is since I was in college. Things got crazy. Some years gotten crazy, and now
They always lived in this house.
Since like 2005, and we can again. There's a lot of like
I want to research this
There's
house.
a lot of family history there of like just stuff my mom's done and way back in my dad's past of his family. But there's been like these cycles of like increased activity and then nothing, and it's gone like this, right? And we're on another upscale, right? So that's why this stuff has been happening. And and again, this is something that I particularly
This is the year for it.
This is something that I particularly don't usually believe, and I never see anything, which has always been the crazy thing. Like I can think like 6 years or 7 years ago when my grandpa died, that there was this crazy thing that happened in the house where like my mom was in there and she heard like the back sliding door of the house open up and like steps running across and all this crazy stuff happening. This is like right after me and my brother left to go back to Stephenville, and there's a lot of bad energy at the house, and like all that stuff was happening and my dad was trying to figure out what was going on. Our dog at the time ran one way and my dad ran the other way to try to catch this guy in the house. And then when he turned the lights on, nothing. No door open, nobody in the house, right? And so anyway, so I say that to say this is like part of the cycle, right? So we're back on this upswing, and this is the first time in the history of being in that house that I've seen something and Waylon has seen something. It's
I didn't see, but
we heard it.
It definitely.
Explain it, dude. Explain. I can't explain it.
Why are the fuck we doing this at the end of the podcast? Why did you not start this in the beginning?
Waylon, explain it. It's crazy, Dylan.
We got back from recording. We were recording a country album with Ronnie, and we got back at his place. It was like 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, and we both fell asleep at that point, right?
Yeah,
It was like maybe an hour into us being asleep or so, and then just like next to, because PJ was going to be like next to me on the ground on another mattress. Then he shifted up to where he was like in the.
By the way, we're in the living room.
Yeah, we're in the living room. He shifts his mattress into the kitchen just to have more separation and whatnot, which is fine with me because he snores a bit, right? But the spot
How far away is the kitchen?
We're literally like
we can look at each other. Like my
here,
feet, I can look over and there.
If I'm
he's
here,
over there.
Waylon's at the couch over there.
Okay.
Yeah,
Very close.
and so we're both asleep, like just dead asleep, and all of a sudden the biggest, loudest, does that next to us, and we all wake the hell up. And like me and PJ, I was like looking around trying to see something, but I didn't even have my contacts. So I'm looking around, looking around, and PJ's like, "What was that?" I was like, "Dude, was that you?" And you were over there like,
I literally was like, "Dude, are you okay?" And he was like, "Yeah, it wasn't me, man. We're trying to figure out what it was." He's like, there's nothing.
Like I literally
that
was like
could've been.
looking around, like looking for something that fell, and I could not see anything.
Next morning we woke
Right next to my
Yeah,
head.
my dad's gone. Yeah, he's on the road. So next morning we're the first people to wake up. Right, I turned all the lights on. I'm
And
looking
I asked
around.
him, I was like, "That happened last night, right?" Like that wasn't a dream. The rest of the night, I literally dreamed that we were trying to figure out what happened.
Yeah, I was like dead asleep. We were super tired, and like it was so loud. It woke us up. My sister heard it in the next room, but she didn't get up because she hears things all the time now, And I looked next morning. It's like 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. I'm looking around for anything that could have made that noise, and nothing is anywhere. And it's crazy. And then since that day, that's the first thing I'd ever seen in that house. Like there was one day I came home and I'm sitting there, and I know sometimes you see things in the corner of your eyes that aren't really there. But
That doesn't mean that they're not there.
But I'm sitting there. I got home. My sister's in her room. She's always up late, But I'm sitting there, and I'm just kind of on my phone, and I put it away, and I'm like thinking about going to sleep on the couch. And then so like there's like this little like opening where the hallway is to my left, and I just see somebody look out, right? And I looked over and I was like, because I have two adopted sisters who are like 5 and 7,
Yeah, I know.
So but it was too tall to be them, It was like, so I was like, hey, who's up? And then I look away. I'm like, okay, whatever. And so I look back down, and again, my phone's off, and I'm just kind of like thinking about what I'm about to do, and then back out again to look at me, and that's how I saw it again, because again, it's like perfectly in my peripherals. I saw it, and I was like, nah, I'm just gonna ignore this. So I just like laid down and went to bed. And it's one of those weird things. I don't know what's going on, but it like again, it's like a 2-year cycle of like coming up, coming down. Coming up, coming down, and we're back on that upswing of things. And I don't know what it is, because I've never been a person to really believe in that kind of stuff. About ghosts, supernatural things. But my sister and my parents have, because they've seen all this stuff. And what I like to call sensies, we're not sensies. People that see that kind of thing, but they very, very much are so.
So
I don't know.
So that's one thing, because like I try to be a skeptic, but I am, as you called, a sensey, if you will.
Yeah.
So from my experience, though, the people that tend to see it tend to be the people that believe it, which is why I'm skeptical.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you believe it because you see it. Like you never when you're afraid, you see things. Like that's like fear is like a superpower essentially, depending on how you use it.
Yeah.
But like the whole energy thing that you brought up, that's why I'm curious about this house. Because like not necessarily always a negative energy, but you can pick up like energy of like things that have happened in the past. So
Yeah.
like there was a like one of my grandparents' houses has 2 master bedrooms, one on each side of the house, and one of them I would never go into. It scared me. I never wanted to go in there because there was a weird off energy to it. Well, I didn't find out until like a couple years ago that my great grandpa died in that bed of a massive, stroke. And so and I'm technically like not blood related to anyone in that side of the family. So I always get like a weird, like not necessarily unwelcome, but like like why are you here? Who are you? Kind of vibe from it. And so knowing now that it was a family member that I'm not related to makes sense. And I see like quote unquote shadow people all the time. I've been to I've been to like the 7th floor of the Baker Hotel. Crazy shit happened there.
Oh, dude, I've been to the Baker. Yeah,
I told you
it's
that
so
story,
cool.
didn't I?
No, we need to talk about it later, though. Yeah, for sure.
Let's just do it now.
Okay, good.
Are we recording still?
Yeah, we're recording.
Okay, so
I forgot that it loops.
We'll finish on that one then.
Well, I got one more thing to say after that. But
You go first then.
Okay, so I just remembered that I didn't ever really saw anything, but there's one other time that I actually felt something, and so my grandma lived with us. So when my grandpa died, that really crazy story, I can actually tell you in detail on another podcast. After he died and my grandma moved in, like I love her to death. She's a wonderful lady, but she was one of those people that hold in like grudges and like negative energy. And she used to say like so. It's a 4-bedroom house. There's a bedroom here, and here. And she lived in that one over here that my sister's in now, right? And so she used to say that she would see things all the time. Old dead relatives, people that she's known in her life, always coming to talk to her, which has always been a weird thing with her, And so she's never been a person to let go of things, right? And so that's when a lot of the stuff would happen at the house because of her, which is why I think it's like a weird like family history thing. Maybe they were maybe they were into something weird at some point in time, But anyway, so when she died, and my sister came back down to like for the funeral and stuff like that. I remember we had respectively cleaned out the room. Did what we needed to do, to move on and stuff like that. And then so at some point, my sister didn't want to. She tried to stay in there for like 3 days, and she could not get a wink of sleep because she kept seeing somebody at the door, and all this stuff, which I at the time attributed to just maybe a faulty plug-in, outlet or something like that. Was sad because that's one of the things I always think is a thing that happens. You get it near a faulty plug-in, and like the static electricity makes you kind of freak out, But she kept seeing it there, right? And so at some point in time, she just would not stay in that room anymore, and she didn't know why. Cause she'd try to sleep, and she would just see somebody right at the door, like watching her. And I was like, okay, whatever, Marie, you take my room across the house, And I was like, I'll sleep in there. It's no big deal. And weirdly enough, I never saw it, but I could not get over the feeling of somebody standing there at that door staring at me. And I was like, what the crap?
The only thing is like, do you think you felt that way because she told you that?
Honestly, no, because even now, I don't really believe in that stuff. So I didn't believe in it then either. I was like, whatever, it's a room. I'm going to sleep. And
but you had that feeling.
Yeah, I had that feeling there. So even today, I honestly still kind of attribute to that. Maybe that's a thing. But it wasn't until like my dad started doing a lot of prayers and stuff that like he literally spent like I don't know. And
have they ever had like a pastor or a preacher or whatever?
That's the thing. Normally, like when my dad would take the time to like pray on it, like things ease up, And so that's what he did that day. And the next day, I slept like a baby. It was like one of those weird things, because like and it gets into a little bit of like the religious side of things. But we had this preacher for a long time he's one of those Methodist preachers. Which if there's any religion that is like a step away from Catholicism, it would be a Methodist church. They're not Catholic, but they stick to a lot of really old rituals like that. Which is kind of, I always thought was kind of cool because like some of the stuff you would tell me we already did. So I'm not saying it's exactly a Catholic church because it obviously isn't. But this guy, he was not afraid to talk about exorcisms and all this stuff, and so he would talk to my dad about that stuff all the time. So this is the kind of stuff he would just do. Like certain kind of prayers and stuff like that. So that's one of the things he would do, and I would always be like, okay. I guess they stopped talking about it because he said he would like pray on it or whatever. And so he did it with that, and then literally the next day I slept in there like nothing, And so, but I never thought about it, until like honestly like right now. So that's just one of the only other times that's been a thing. So man, negative energy, I think that could be a real thing that really makes you.
Yeah, but what would have made that loud smack that woke us up when we were having a wonderful night and we just went to bed? Everyone's laughing, having a good time.
That's a bug to me.
And then we got woke up.
We've had because there's trees around the house, right? There's things that have hit the roof.
It was not outside.
It was literally
like because I was like maybe like a bird or something hit the window or something. I was like it wouldn't make that noise.
Things that fall down in my room all the time for no reason to move.
I don't know, man.
There was nothing on the ground or nothing.
No, but that's my point. Is things that shouldn't fall all the time.
I'm not saying that we're any more of an expert of sound than anybody else, but that sound was violent.
It was violent.
It wasn't a picture frame falling over.
Yeah.
It was right where PJ was supposed to be sleeping.
Boom.
So it's always at nighttime right before you go to sleep, right?
Yeah, they're getting ready to go to bed.
So
we were already asleep.
There's a portal.
Yeah.
That's in your brain in your dreams. This is my belief in. This is what I just
no, it's actually something I believe.
Is that
okay? Good.
Is that there's certain people who
they actually made a Insidious based on this idea.
Right. So
good,
let's say you're a drug addict, right? So you drug out, you block those certain portals out, which is just the dream sensory, brain sensory thing. That's how I believe that possessions or demons or ghosts. That's what they come through. Is right. It's always right before you sleep.
Yeah.
Like because that's when you go into another dimension.
Usually at the witching hour.
So that's whenever they come through. So I think when y'all fell asleep, they come through because that's how they come through. Is through. That's why people who do drugs they don't have possession because it's almost like they block off that sensory. They don't have those dreams.
That's why a lot of people do drugs because they're troubled from
their nightmares. You have demons. Well, don't say that no more. You can't say that. They have no. Well, that's actually why they do drugs. So they block out. That's why I believe it's true. That's why you do certain things to block the demons from coming in.
We may getting on some weird stuff here, but let me pose you a question, okay?
Weird is interesting.
Because here's the thing that I just thought of when he was talking about that. I mean, maybe David's right. I don't know. But here's what I just thought of. So before me and Waylon stayed the night that night, they hadn't heard anything. Mm-hmm. Right? And the fact that we were there and there's more, I guess, people going to sleep. And we probably fell asleep at the exact same time. Do you think that was just a big enough portal for it to like, bam? Because I'm not joking. Ever since then, Waylon, it's gotten bad. Ever since we heard that noise. So you think something came over?
Just triggers, yeah. I mean, it's just like energy, like you big enough with bigger portal, bigger transformation of energy, whatever comes through.
So that noise there was like, bam, another thing. And now it's been terrorizing them.
Tell them if they start doing drugs, they can block it out.
Well, that's what.
Or pray.
Why,
pray
so
that's crazy, man.
Psychedelics are so powerful. Meditation's powerful. You're basically like your mind is. That's why I said, I believe in the other dimensions and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I don't believe in the traditional sense of demons. I think they're other dimensional beings.
Yeah.
But the fact that they respond so negatively to like prayer and stuff does give religion a lot of merit. That in my opinion, because if that actually works, shit.
Yeah.
Like religion was never wrong what they were trying to do. I mean, yeah, there's practices everybody argues over. Hey, but the main point of religion is to stop that, and
then you can't see it. It's up to you.
I mean, it's not wrong. Religion is wrong. Just or I don't know. Practicing of organized religion, I don't believe in it. I don't care about it. But what they talk about in the Bible and what they do is actually something that you do use to prevent ghosts or demons or whatever comes through.
Astral projection
nowadays
is a real
it's
thing.
Narcotics.
Is it really?
In my opinion, yeah.
You don't think it's real?
I don't know, man.
I think it is.
I will say that even though I've never seen anything, I always, and I don't use that term lightly. I've always, when I go to sleep, have hyper realistic dreams. Like it's never like. I can't remember what I dreamed. I literally wake up every day, whether it's 8 or 12, having a dream that I vividly like dang, that was like so real. Like you can't tell. Like I never know if I'm.
I think that's just because it's a surface dream. Like you're waking up and your body gets those.
Well, see,
I never know if I'm dreaming or not until I wake up and open my eyes. I'm like, okay, I guess I was dreaming.
You could be dreaming right now.
It's like whenever you stop your drug addict, stop that there because they don't dream. You don't have dreams whenever you're under. So you do so many years without doing it. Whenever you stop, you have the mode. Your portal's so intense that it opens up. Shit gets crazy.
Dang, dude. That's
so.
All right, so you're saying when you're on drugs, you do not dream?
No, you don't have that.
Yeah, it blocks that.
Yeah, even weed itself. If you smoke it too much, you have shallow dreams. You don't hit REM.
In fact, that was one of the main plot lines in Inception.
Really?
He had to take the dream sleep because he couldn't. He'd done that dream drug too much to where he couldn't dream naturally.
Oh, I forgot about that part. Yeah, they had to put him under, right?
Or so I've
That's
heard.
crazy.
Shit.
No, seriously, that blows my mind. It really does.
You don't think the astral projection thing's real though?
I mean, I don't know. I never done it.
PJ, there's legitimately a priest named Padre Pio who could actually astral project, and they even thought it was demonic, so they locked him up in his monastery for years, and he was still appearing in people's like houses and stuff.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy. I don't know.
You
that's
can't prove
that
it, but I
fascinates me.
believe it. Yes.
You know,
He stopped bombers in mid sky from bombing a specific area
When?
in World War II.
Oh, okay.
This is
I have to look him up.
this is
It's
No, it's
crazy
crazy
stories.
stuff.
It's like Gandalf type stories.
This is
I'm
this
in.
is 20 degrees left what we're talking about. But how cool would it be? I've thought about doing this a couple of times. You know, my uncle is a roofer, right? And so in his trucks, he has these like square magnetic things he slaps on there. This is Ramirez Roofing and Sons. Here's the number, free estimates. I thought it'd be so cool to drive around here with one of those magnetic stickers on our cars that says, "Oh, we got to come up with a name," but paranormal investigations and like just like see who
Taint
calls
ticklers.
us. It'd be so funny, you know. But I say it as a joke. But what if like somebody was like,
I
"Yeah,
would
we
say,
need help.
We would get a crap ton of calls.
We need help," and then we show up to some apartment. and
Don't
there's
know
ghosts
what the-
flying around.
Hey,
and be
don't
like,
know-
"Oh shit! Don't cross the streams."
Don't know what the fuck
PJ be
we're
like,
doing.
here's tainted waters.
I'll put it this way:
Someone pulls out a
wouldn't
Ouija
want-
board and gets this shit all fucked up.
Yeah, I'm running the hell out if I see that. That's actually so. Like, I'm not very superstitious, but
Yeah.
one thing that like blood boiling rage. You ever try to bring one of those around me?
Ouija board.
Yeah, I'll punch
Yeah.
you.
Dude,
You're not bringing that to my
I
house.
remember that one podcast we had where he was talking about Ouija
do
boards.
it.
He got so serious, dude.
Well, me and him just talking about it at 3:00 in the morning one time
Yeah.
in a parking lot. We heard murderous screams, like a woman getting killed.
Waylon,
sounding screams.
Waylon, do you remember that party
Remember that?
at AJ and Hawkins and Chris's house?
Yep.
Dude, you remember they talk about that? Like that was crazy. They had a
That's-
Ouija
Well,
board.
it's literally
we can save that one.
a portal, like an actual portal. That is the whole concept of it, and it's a child's toy.
Let's call the guy Tom, the guy that started being
Don't
all
call
weird.
him my dad's name.
Oh, okay, sorry. We'll call him Matt.
Taint tickler.
The guy named Matt started being super weird and was freaked everybody out, right? And we all
That's
like
the guy's name.
Well,
You just gave the
thanks
actual
a lot.
name.
Sphincter
There was
Wiggler?
this guy who started getting weird. I don't know what his name was, but he started getting weird, and like we all went different ways, right? And like it was the craziest thing ever. Like, explain it. Wait, explain it.
Well, the way they said it after all of the events took place,
yeah.
they said they could hear a voice that sounded like it was like at a distant, like down the hallway or down the street yelling, but telling him things and telling him to do things and stuff. So it didn't sound like it was right up next to him, but they said it sounded like he was like down the street, and they could hear a voice like yelling at him from down the street.
It was weird.
Is the way they described it.
And
Because
then-
Trejo was hearing it too.
Yeah, and then we went to this other person's house, Maggie, right? Mm-hmm. And this girl that I wanted to marry at the time was there, and I was like, "Hey, what's up, girl? Yeah, I'm sorry, bro, that I'm a person who wants to marry a woman at some point in time.
No, you just so easily like wooed.
I am okay. I'll admit that I'm very easily wooed. It doesn't take a lot. It takes a little wink or a "Hey, PJ," or a "Oh, you play jazz,"
And then that's where he breaks out into a musical.
And I go, "You say
He's like a
hello."
Bollywood, like that one scene in every Bollywood movie where they have like a random impromptu choreographed dance scene.
Right?
I love that shit.
Yeah, man, that's cool stuff.
I want to go into a dance right now.
Do
Let's
it.
do it.
I've grown sleepy.
All right, well, they know what that means. Well, it's been a good.
I gotta be at work 6 in the morning.
podcast.
I'm gonna do the podcast. It's doing about your story. Hey, let's go do. I want to go to your house.
We can do it one day, man.
We're gonna do a ghost story at PJ's house.
Naked.
Here's what we'll do. We'll pay for the fam to go stay at a hotel one night, and we'll just video
We'll sit
everything.
there and just load the podcast in the middle of the room like this.
And we'll bring one Ouija board. Right?
We're like, "What's up, ghosts? It's your boys."
We'll be-
PJ, Dylan, and David.
We'll bring one Ouija board. We all get naked and greased up. I say, come on, I'll wrestle you, ghost.
Honestly-
So on the podcast, anytime you hear a blank space, you have to turn it up to listen for the ghost answering.
Honest-
And then all you hear is a.
honestly, if we did do that, as much as she would hate it, I would make Marie leave too, because Marie is a magnet. She is. She's a magnet.
We just want to.
She's a magnet for weird things like that. That's crazy.
I'll figure. Just out. We'll talk about it later.
Unless you want her there, so things can happen.
No. We'll talk about it later. We'll get more details on what's going on, then we can research what it is.
Okay, that's fine.
See if it's a ghost or a demon.
Are they different? A ghost or a demon?
Yeah, there's a big difference.
There's a huge difference.
Dude,
There's multiple differences between ghosts too.
What's the idea you had about the echoes in time? Like
There's real ghosts, there's real demons,
photograph.
and then there's the concept of just an emotional photograph in time based off of whatever tragic event may have happened, where people are yelling at each other or gets murdered or whatever it is. It puts an imprint in time, and it replays itself whenever a similar emotion plays in that same area. It triggers that energy that's in the same space and replays that over and over. Those are the ghosts that you see that don't pay attention to you, and they just keep walking around and going through walls and stuff or doing whatever.
If they are agitated,
acting whatever they're doing.
You might have a, as they call it, poltergeist.
If they're agitated and looking at you and screwing with you, then they're completely there.
You might have a poltergeist or a demon. Either way, I'm intrigued and I want to go play. And we'll take some shrooms too, just for fun.
And that will totally
Afterwards,
all of it.
afterwards.
We can talk about that during camping. But hey, would you be down for doing that?
Doing what?
Maybe me and Waylon pay for the parents and the girls to go to a hotel.
I'll
and
pay
we
for
stay
that,
at my
bro.
house one night and just kind of investigate.
Of course.
And then after we expunge the
It's
ghosts,
your boys, ghosts.
with a Ouija board and baby blood.
after we
I'll
we
do
expunge
Ouija.
the ghost eyes, then we can get magnet stickers and slap them on our
You
cars.
need to get hula hoops, cut them in half, fill it with salt, and then duct tape what we cut in half, though.
Okay.
If it's demon, we need rustic.
I'm just saying,
iron.
all we need
No,
is
because we need to have a circle of salt around us, and that way they can't blow the salt away.
look. All I'm saying is,
He's a thinker.
David.
The salt's covered. You
Dylan,
gotta get these salt out. You can't do
All
it.
I'm saying is, all we got to do is get rid of one ghost, and then we can be professionals.
And then but if it's a demon, we need to get a rusty iron. We need iron. It's an ancient element, iron, but it needs to be rusty.
It don't have to be
Hey,
rusty.
It has to be rusty. Yes.
No, it doesn't.
Let's talk about one movie that I
to be
just thought
rusty.
of. Did you ever see Skeleton Key? With,
It does. It does have to be
with
rusty
Kate
iron.
Hudson, right? Talk about a good movie. I enjoyed that movie.
That's pretty underrated.
Yeah, remember when because the whole thing was her.
That's about hoodoo.
The thing about voodoo, and this is the part that I don't agree. Maybe it's not true about voodoo. Is that it only works if you believe it? You know, because
I actually think that's true.
Well, I don't believe in voodoo, and if that is attributing to what's happening at my house, and it doesn't make sense.
I'll explain
oh,
why.
damn! Hang on. Sorry, mother. I think my mom believes in voodoo. I think she does.
I mean, just like Santa Rita.
So
whatever it is.
okay, and she's never gonna listen. Well, she's never gonna watch this anyways. I will tell you one more story. This is a story she told me before growing up. Okay, there is a thing they did. I don't know why they did this. Right, a couple of her siblings, one of her cousins, and a couple other things. They got together one day and did some voodoo stuff. And at some point, there was like this thing done where they were gonna die at the opposite of the year they were born. So if you're born in '89, you're gonna die in '98, right? And so the first person to come up was her cousin. I don't remember what his
That
name
doesn't
was.
make sense.
I don't know.
If you're born in
That was
1989,
just an example.
Yeah, if you're born in 1989, you're gonna die in 1998. You flipped the last two.
Oh, the last two, okay.
Yeah. So, a cousin of hers, that happened to him. The first one that it would have happened to. Okay, and apparently she had a lot of because I don't know exactly what they did, but they did some hardcore stuff. You know, they were into weird stuff back then. It was like the 70s or whatever.
so
you know?
that last year.
Yeah. So this happened to her cousin, right? And nightmares, or whatever. And so the next person to come up was her brother. Same thing happened. He died the opposite year, right? And she freaked out. She was kind of always worried about that too, right? So when the year came out for her to be reversed, I remember that year she was having nightmares all year long about it, you know, freaking out, seeing her brothers, seeing all this stuff. Dude, the stories I could tell you about the things that they've seen back in the day, it's crazy, man. Like, I wish we had time to talk about it. But
I wish you would have started out with this shit.
Yeah, damn. Like,
No.
like,
What the fuck?
Nicolas
Stupid
Cage.
apocalypse shit. What the fuck? That's a real story.
there's this one story that she told me one time where they grew
We know
up.
what our topics are for next time.
Nicolas
we gotta do
Cage.
this week.
They grew
I
up
wanna
in
get on it.
they grew up in Hamilton, right? And there was this family in Hamilton that they were Wiccan. They were super into witchcraft, right? And one of her sisters really was a bully to one of these girls in this family, and she basically was like, "Hey, she was like, whatever. I don't think it's real, but she was like, hey, blah blah blah, curse, right?
Well,
and that
so-
same night, what we in the Mexican culture would prefer as the lechuza, right? A big bird.
Yeah.
This huge ass bird came the same night, came to their house in Hamilton, sat on one of those, the clotheslines,
yeah.
With, it kind of looks like a T, right? It's metal, looks like a T.
yeah,
and
show that
it came and sat on it right there at their house, cawed all night. And my grandpa went out, would grab a shoe, throw it at the bird, hit it right like in the head or whatever, and it would sit there and go, gah, gah, the whole night. And apparently the next day, one of my aunt went and apologized to the girl and stuff like that, and then the bird didn't come back.
I believe the story, but Wiccans don't do curses.
I don't know.
Well, so I know a lot about witchcraft.
No, that's fine. I don't know exactly. I don't know exactly what it was.
Sure,
I'm just
sure.
saying.
But
Yeah.
just for clarification, so if they actually follow the Wiccan creed, now that's not to say that they broke their own creed.
Yeah.
But the Wiccan creed is so witchcraft itself is just a tool. So it can be good or evil depending on how you use it.
Yeah.
But the reason why most, especially Wiccans, and most pagans in general, stick to what you would call white magic or good magic is because if you use black magic,
Drains your soul.
It tends to backfire on you.
Okay.
And you tend to suffer the same thing but worse later on.
A bird can be white. A bird showing up at a house can be white magic, though, right?
No.
It's not really doing anything wrong to them.
No, but that's an omen.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
But anyways, so typically like their whole thing is like they're I can't remember the actual words, but it's like do no harm kind of thing. It's kind of like a doctor's creed.
Yeah, they're pretty chill, right?
Well, I wouldn't say they're chill, but they don't harm others, at least not directly. You know?
I've been told that before.
Their whole thing is like it's same thing with like so wishing yourself money would technically be black magic too.
Yeah.
So basically, like anything selfish like that, they can't do, or not that they can't, but they.
Dude, you know what I just remembered? Dude, it might be my fault, Waylon. One time, some big ass birds showed up at our house. Two of them.
Mm-hmm.
They were like, it wasn't even a freaking what do they call it? A vulture? It wasn't even a vulture. It was just a big old
Condor?
bird. I don't know what it was. I asked my dad, and he's been around. Not that he knows everything, but I was like, hey, what kind of bird is that? Like in our
What color was
backyard.
it?
I mean, it was mostly black. You know,
What is this? Did it have
I
a
don't
human-like
How
face?
big was the bird dick?
It was huge. That was the biggest bird I've ever seen. And I was like, what is that? Right. And you know what I did, Waylon? I feel so bad. I shot an archery bow arrow at it. You know, with a big squishy thing. I went, poof, and I went right between them, and then went, and like flew away. And I was like all slow and stuff. And I was like, damn, that was a big bird. I'm glad I didn't hit it. I don't want it to die. You know, could that be why we're cursed now?
Now the bird's fucking you.
Okay. Why was that bird there? What kind of bird was it?
Could have been.
I need to know what it looked like.
It was like as big as
Could have been one of those spirit animals you fucked with.
What did its head look like?
like
Like
a
had a beak.
like that. It had a head like a bald
head.
head.
A what?
It wasn't a bald eagle. It had a big bald head though.
And it had a beak.
I mean, most birds have beaks.
All
Like
birds.
the
That's
birds
not-
off
that's-
of King Arthur.
That's not what I'm getting at, though.
I don't know, man. It was
So
just
that's
a,
another story.
it was a big ass
story
bird,
to the
man.
My night is
What
ending.
you going to do today?
I have to be at work in 4 hours.
Okay, man. Well, you know what? You want to just pause and talk about this later? All right. Is that good?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, this is podcast 17.
What?
Have
We
a
gotta
good
go
night.
work in the mornings. Oh.
This man here.
I still want to talk about that ghost shit later.
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
Yeah,
We're
we'll get
definitely
it.
talking about
Next
it.
podcast.
my job, I
Paranormal
quit.
Activity.
I'm make money. I'm
Have a
monetize this
good
fucking
night.
podcast
I
channel.
love every single one of you guys. Thank you, subscribers. Comment if you made it this far. Type a W in the chat for a winner. Have a good night.
Ooh.